Hey, how we doing? Good morning, everybody. We just got done with our morning goat yoga session, and we are ready to go. Squib's going to put away his Pilates ball, and we're going to fire up today's episode of Caliber Corner, episode number 245, season 5. So today we're talking about pistol caliber carbines. It's been almost a year since we've had this discussion, but we've really never just examined the AR-9 platform. There's a lot of competition out there for pistol caliber carbines. There's a lot of companies that want your money. And you can go from as low as, say, a little over $200 to whatever you want to spend on a 9mm pistol caliber carbine. So we'll be focusing on 9mm today. So if you're not a 9mm fan, sorry, hang out anyway. When it comes to the AR-9, you don't have to spend a lot of money to get into it. You can get some quality firearms. And I think there's some advantages to going with an AR platform pistol caliber carbine versus something proprietary like, say, a CZ Scorpion or a Ruger PCC or CMMG. So if you own any of those and we say there's disadvantages to it, there's no reason to get upset about it. There are some inherent advantages and disadvantages to all these platforms that we're going to be talking about today. But before we do that, we have a wide awake and very esteemed panel joining us this morning. So let's go ahead and let the panel introduce themselves. Why don't we just go in order of age and wisdom? So Single Shot, we'll go ahead and start off with you. Single Shot, how's your morning going, man? How you doing? Are you good?
Well, so far so good. Nice bright sunshiny day here in New Hampshire. I'm headed to Great Lakes, Michigan there for Monday delivery. Got a load of roll paper on.
Yep.
And had a little time at the house, did a few things. I got a couple of short videos, one on Rumble and one on YouTube. A friend of mine, good friend of mine is he's in the hospital after a heart attack.
Okay.
And apparently he's had more than one. I didn't even know he had the first one. But,
okay.
I've got to send him a text there this morning, see how he's doing. He's not taking any calls right now, but he is doing text. So if people would like to check out the videos and then go to his site there and do a message or two for him.
Okay, what's the channel name?
CW Longshot.
CW Longshot. Okay, let's see if we can get that link put out there, and you guys can go check out the channel and go join in. And then also I noticed that Wayward Son, Custom Gun, Wayward Son, who's joined us before in the panel, and he's got a great channel. I believe wasn't it Mike F. Jr., if I'm not mistaken, had passed away mid-July, and he didn't know. And he was a huge follower of Wayward Son's channel, and he had commented a lot of my videos too. And there's a GoFundMe to help the family. He didn't have any life insurance. It was unexpected. And it's a bad situation for the family. So if you want to help out, you can head over. You can type in Mike space F, and the GoFundMe should pop up. Otherwise, go over to Wayward Son's channel, and he's got a link that you guys can go check out too. So yeah, kind of a somber morning, man. Life is short. You really need to make the most out of every day because you don't know if you're going to be here tomorrow. And I know that's depressing, but man, you want to you gotta live it, enjoy life,
Yep, that's right.
So I'm glad you're with us, man. And
we had a good few days there at the house. I even had a chance to get out on the motorcycle for a little bit.
Ooh, nice.
Had a nice little ride.
Yeah.
So
I'm fighting hard to not pick up a bike, dude. I keep watching motorcycle reviews on YouTube, and it's not helping me. And now I'm at a point where insurance is cheap on just about any bike I want to get. It's like, God, the temptation is so real, dude. I grew up as a huge sport bike fan, and I love Harleys, cruisers, Indians. I just haven't ever taken the jump into buying one. At some point, I probably will. But motorcycle prices are up now too because of gas prices. There's so much more demand. Yeah. There was a time where there were 1 billion cycles out there. So yeah.
Speaking of that for just a moment, I had to put some fuel in the bike there. It was almost empty. I pulled up to the pump. I think I put in just a little over 4.5 gallons and run me almost $15. I said, "What is this?"
But that 60 miles to the gallon will make up for it, though. That's the difference.
I'm getting about 60 with that V-twin, so.
Tony York says it's a good idea, Travis. The world always could use more organ donors. Tony, I'm already an organ donor, so if I can give somebody another chance, I know. It's dangerous. We have a lot of motorcycle accidents here in Lincoln, Nebraska that happen. A lot of people run reds. It's just a habit. People gun it through a yellow, and sometimes they just go and people go through and that's it.
Yep.
So that's
very
the
good.
one thing that's kind of keeping me from doing is that fear that there's always a possibility, especially if I lived in a more rural area, maybe I consider, but yeah, been living in a city.
Yeah.
So anywho,
Very good friend of mine over in California got clobbered. He never did tell me what the specifics of the accident was, but he got messed up pretty badly and totaled his bike. So, you know, he's doing all right though. He's back on videos on Rumble, so doing all right.
Cool.
Good
All right,
friend.
man. Well, I'm glad you're with us, and we'll go ahead and keep on rolling here. Also joining us, we've got American Hillbilly. Good morning, sir. How you doing in the great state of Missouri? Are you awake this morning?
I sure am, buddy. Done got up, went jogging, done yoga. I mean, cooked breakfast. I'm ready to go, buddy.
Had your avocado toast. You made your High Point avocado toast.
You betcha. Yeah.
There's another video. There's a part 2 for you. Does the High Point carbine make better avocado toast than the Glock avocado, whatever we called it? Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we'll definitely have to find out.
Yeah. So you'll be in on this one because that's how I discovered your channel too, is looking up videos on the the High Point caliber 9-point carbine. So, yeah, good stuff, man. Make sure you check out the Hillbilly Up American Hillbilly channel. And you guys are going to find a lot of cool content, and it's a lot of fun. So you can also learn some hillbilly speak, which I'm learning. I'm learning a lot right now. So, there's always something good. Y'all come back now, you hear? So,
you bet you, buddy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, man. All right. So, guys, make sure you get over there and subscribe. All right. Also joining us, we've got the man, the myth, the legend. I don't know why he keeps gracing us with his presence because he's so expensive to keep paying every week to come back here. But we've got Squib Load in the house. Squib, how you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm awake. I got up a little bit earlier this morning to shoot a coffee review. I'm actually going to step away after this and go ahead and film the ending of it. I like to have a few cups, let my taste buds wake up, let me wake up.
Yep.
I go in groggy. I should have coffee and then do the review, but the way I like to do them, I just, I don't want to taint the review with already having had something else. Most of the time when I do the review, it's a coffee that I'm trying out for the first time, but not always. So I'm trying some Puerto Rican coffee for the first time. It's not bad, but I just don't think it's worth the money. I think that with a few things, it might be worth it, but it was worth a try. I'm not disappointed in anything other than just really what you get for the cost. That's all.
Well, here's what's cool about your coffee reviews, and you do a lot of them, and that's awesome. You do more than one cup, which is cool because you kind of share that experience. Does it taste it? Because sometimes you take one sip and you're like, oh, not you, but people are like, oh, this is nasty. But then you let it cool down a little bit. More of the flavor and the character of the coffee comes out. So for those of you that don't know, Squib does coffee reviews, and I also do coffee reviews on my B channel, Coffee Commuters and More. And Squib's really putting out some really cool videos and some reviews on coffee I've never heard of before. And sometimes, he spends a lot of money on this stuff, and it's interesting to see if it's really worth $20 a pound or $20 for 12 ounces, So, and a lot of you might be Folgers drinkers and Maxwell House people, and that's totally fine, but
$26 for 10 ounces.
My God. No, wait. Was that just the coffee, or does that include shipping? Because we really can't count
free shipping because I bought 3 bags of coffee off of Amazon. So I'm shooting another review tomorrow morning. I bought 3 different kinds of coffee I've never had before. And it kind of sucks too, because like the box came in on Monday, right? And I work second shift. So I don't want to try to get 0 sleep and try to do a video at 6 a.m. before, everybody starts getting up and making noise in the house and stuff like that. So I've made the coffee that we already had all week long. And I'm looking at this Amazon box with all these, 3 coffees in there I haven't tried before. And yeah, so sometimes that's the way I do my reviews. I kind of make it more work for myself, but they're nothing spectacular. But you got me into the coffee reviews, which got me into trying more coffees. I found some coffees that I like. I found some coffees I don't like.
Your life is better now because of it.
It is. I've turned into a coffee
quality
shop.
of life improvement, Squib.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. You guys are all bad influences on me. You get me into things. I mean, coffee, different coffees, blocks.
Yeah, buying guns before 8 a.m. Surplus
I'm not buying any guns today. I'm not. But I will say this: we did talk about this last night on the Right of the People. Smith & Wesson stood up for themselves and for lawful gun owners when they were, being pressed about you sell these things that criminals use and stuff. But there's the rest of us who use them lawfully. And I think we need to support the companies, whether they provide a product or a service, that are not just cashing in on our fear, because gun companies, ammo companies, trainers, anybody who's in the industry, even YouTubers, can take two different roads. They can make a profit or try to make a profit while doing the right thing, or they can just sell out. And these gun companies, they want gun control, because without gun control, we're not going to keep going back and buying more, or panic buying, or whatever it is. When a gun company or a trainer or an ammunition company or reload company, or somebody who makes gun cases, whatever it is, supports us, defends us, because we're not criminals, we're not the bad guys. When they defend their actions of just doing lawful commerce, then I think that as a culture, if we let them know, send them an email and say, hey, thank you for standing up for us. I'm buying one of your products today, or something like that. And you don't even have to run out and buy a gun. You could buy something as simple as hearing protection or a lower parts kit or something like that if you're kind of strapped for cash. But even though I bought a Smith & Wesson recently, and I'll be buying some other things from the company that aren't firearms here, it's good that I think that they're out there doing that instead of cashing in, because people gave them so much crap over staying in Massachusetts so long when that's so oppressed and things like that. And there's other companies that can do that. And I understand that could affect your bottom line, right? If you support these Second Amendment organizations and they actually gain some traction because you're able to give them deep pockets so they can fight Bloomberg or something like that, then maybe people are going, all right, cool, there's not going to be a ban. I don't have to run out and buy stuff. So I understand if from a business standpoint, it's a business standpoint, but there are lots of individuals and lots of companies out there that without that gun control, they know they wouldn't be in business. So they're not really going to go all the way in doing something about it. So just keep that in mind. If you're wondering how you can best use your money, an idea is to support the companies that support us.
So this was kind of interesting. I remember watching a Hank Strange video about 3 years ago. He was at SHOT Show and he was at the range day. And every time he got done shooting a gun, he walked up to the representative and said, what is your company's stance on the Second Amendment? And probably 3/4 of the representatives said, oh, I'm not in any position to make a comment to represent the company. And I get that. They're just the vendors. They're just the representatives. That's not an excuse. But I'm saying they didn't have anybody official making a statement representing the company. But there were a few companies that adamantly said, we support the Second Amendment wholeheartedly. We support a rights, an individual's right to bear arms. But then a lot of the companies, like I remember Colt was one of them. The guy's like, oh, I can't make a statement on that question, sir. And it's like, oh, but again, they've got their contracts, they've got their audience they cater to that's private or police or military. So yes, they're looking out for their interests, but at the same time, it's like you get to do what you do, and a big percentage of the money you make is because of us, the little people. And you might say, well, the little people don't represent that much for their sales. No, we really do. You'd be surprised. Once what do they do when their contracts run out? Then they come begging for money, or they want bailouts.
Look at the history of Colt with that. They've hurt themselves financially and changed management and changed names and gone through all kinds of problems because they leaned too heavily on those government contracts. When those contracts dried up, who was there to support them? So that's why I'm saying just doing something as simple as going to the contact page on the Smith & Wesson website or whatever company it is, whether they provide a product or service, and sending an email saying, thank you for standing up for us when you were being questioned by the government, when you were being questioned in front of the cameras, thank you for, doing this. Thank you for donating some money to the, pick out your acronym organization, or things like that. Thank you for taking a stance for the Second Amendment, because without that, we wouldn't have the right to defend ourselves, and you guys wouldn't be in business. It's a simple thing. I know you can't even get somebody to send a chain letter to their congressman to say, if you vote for this, I'm not voting for you again. So asking somebody to go to the contact page on the same website that they would shop for an item on, I know it's just asking too much. But I'm just saying these sorts of things help them, because if they get feedback from us, they realize that what they're doing might fly in the face of their traditional business practice, the traditional business model. But we're watching. Remember what happened to Benchmade? I mean, they're not out of business, but a lot of people gave them flack.
For destroying those weapons that the police department dropped off.
And you can argue that it was going to happen anyhow, and they saved us taxpayer money. And
they could have said no. They could have said no. We're sorry. That's not what we do.
It's the way their public relations went out there, and nobody knew. Nobody knew. They went out of their way to tell everybody, "Hey, we just destroyed these guns. Hey, where are all you guys going?" Right? So letting them know by coming onto social media and making these videos, going, "I'm not buying your product anymore," or letting them know by sending them an email or something like that is a way to help these businesses make better choices that end up helping everybody, them and us. But I understand from a business standpoint, I get it. If you're not selling, then what are you in business for? And if fear sells, they're going to support fear. They just might do it clandestinely.
Yeah. And if you remember, a while back, Smith & Wesson went through that same thing when they sold out to that outfit out of England. Yep. There was a lot of PD departments that says, really? Screw you.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, let's continue the panel introductions here, and then we'll give a shout out on the YouTube side, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Foos, how's it going this morning, man? You're not competing. You're not heading out to the range.
I have a local match later today. That I'm going to participate in. Hopefully, it lasts a heck of a lot longer than my last match. But hey,
hey man.
So last match was Area 3. I got 10 rounds into it. The muzzle caught a wall and broke the 180. So my weekend was done.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was
too intense, Booster. Too intense, man. I'm telling
you. That was fun.
Oh, dude.
No, and what really sucked is I was the chauffeur for 2 other guys the rest of the weekend.
Oh my God. Where was that at again? Where were you? I
was Grand Island, Nebraska.
Oh, okay. Well, there's a few things to do around there. There's a couple good gun stores to check out, you know.
I was their AKA steel monkey. So
okay, there you go. Boost, reload my mags. Yes, sir.
Basically,
you were Maglula Jr. that weekend, you know.
I did whatever they wanted. Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, things are going good. So we're talking about 9mm ARs and PCCs.
Absolutely, man. Well, we've never really talked about just the AR-9, just that form factor, because we've always looked at other PCCs, but we pretty much ignored the AR-9 in our last discussion. And the other thing too, what also happened in our last PCC discussion is we always forget about the lever guns. You know, I mean, for some people, that's all they can get because of ban restrictions and stuff. And the lever guns are technically, you could say it's a pistol caliber carbine rifle.
It's the first
7 mag.
It's the first one.
Yeah, it's the great granddaddy. So we can't ignore those because, and then price wise, you know, you're going to be paying a bit of a premium, but some of these PCCs are not cheap. A lot of these are pushing over $1,000. So, you know, there's something for everyone, but I kind of wanted to look at some of the different platforms and talking about the advantages and disadvantages. A lot of these I've shot now at this point. I own a couple of them myself, so I can kind of comment on what I have and what I do. But anyway, yeah. So, hey, let's give a shout out on the YouTube side real quick. We got SS Pond Stan is out there. Hillbilly Up is out there. Vanessa Kitty's out there. Gizzard Gary's in the house. Let's see. Kingpin is out there. Tony York's joining us. Krabby Turtle's in the house. Let's see. Tommy Gunn is joining us from Canada this morning. Good morning, Tommy Gunn. It's so hard to enunciate when you're only going on 5 hours of sleep. I'll tell you what, people. Bald and Curious is out there. That's your own
problem.
Hey, no, I can't. 6 hours is pretty much what I'm physically limited to. I just wake up and I'm hardwired to it. Maybe someday when I retire, so I'll start sleeping until 7. But Kevin June is out there also. Blue Steel 44 is in the house. Scott 79 is joining us. Let's see here. Mountain View's watching this morning. Fluffy 10mm Jeep guys out there. And Gabriel had made a comment about one of my videos. He said, man, he goes, we got to get you a different, shooting bench or shooting sled. That thing's all over the place. It's designed to pivot, but when I've got a super powerful rifle in there that's light, it has a tendency to jump up out of the rest. So I have learned I need to pull down on the rifle better, but I'm going to keep using the lead sled. It works great. Defense Dad uses clamps, like C clamps, to keep his clamp down to the shooting area. I might actually go that route so I don't have to keep adjusting it with every shot, but I mean, it gives a pretty good idea as to what a rifle's going to do for you. William Trader's out there. Matthias is out there also. Let's see. We said Gizzard Gary, gave him a shout out. A quick heads up, Thunder in the Prairie 2023 is going to happen. And then finally, Squib Load, Squib Lift, and Bitter Taxpayers out there too, and I'm Gabriel. It's going to be in June again, I believe the first weekend in June. I don't know if it's on the calendar yet. We've got approved for it and we're ready to go. So we're going to start working on talking to sponsors again. And so we're going to make a 2-day event out of it. That was our small YouTube channel shooting event that we hosted back in June. And if you haven't seen it yet, go ahead and check out our videos. Just type in Thunder on the Prairie 2022. And anybody that made content, for the most part, put videos out with that in the headings or that in the tags, and you can see what that event was all about. It was a lot of fun. One day is going to be dedicated to just a range day having a great time, and the next day is going to be dedicated to getting you time at the range so you can film yourself shooting, because a lot of guys maybe don't have access to an open range like we do, and a lot of them are limited to a certain firing line. So if we give you full range access, you can film and really have a good time. So that's kind of the idea. And I think it's going to be probably $25 per day per person, and that just covers our range rental. We don't, Defense Dad and I don't make anything off of that at all. So in fact, we provide a lot of the supplies and stuff for it. But anyway, okay, let's get back to the topic. So your AR-9, the way I understand it, these AR-9s and AR platform 9mm pistol caliber carbine, aside from the Henry lever guns, let's advance ahead, came out around the 1980s. And if you want to go the AR-9 route, and again, I'm not endorsed by any of the companies we're going to look at, you have a lot of options. We're going to just take a general look at the AR-9. Before we do that, I want to see if anybody on the panel has experience with an AR platform 9mm pistol caliber carbine. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Squib, I want to start off with you. Have you ever shot one or owned one or thought about buying one? Any interest in it whatsoever? Squib, go ahead. Are you there? You might be away getting another cup of coffee. Okay. All right. So single shot, I'll move on to you. What do you think, man?
No, I haven't as of yet. I've got a little bit of interest in the Ruger PC9, but I've not had the luxury of trying one out yet.
Okay. And again, if you're familiar with an AR-15, you know the manual of arms, you know the operation, you got a pretty good idea about the ergonomics of it, what's going to happen and what to expect and things like that. So, okay. Let's see, American Hillbilly, have you had a chance to play around with an AR-9 yet at all?
Yeah, actually I have. A buddy of mine has a couple of them, and actually I really do like them. I mean, he has the Freedom Ordnance, and it's a sweet little gun, and he also has a SIG.
Oh, all right,
and
all right.
They run great, guys. I mean, I know there's a lot of haters for them probably out there, but I mean, they run really nice.
They do have their place. Like, take somebody like my dad that has serious shoulder issues. He can't hold up a firearm that weighs more than, say, 16 ounces for more than a very short period of time because it affects his shoulder. But he can shoot his AR pistol just fine. Now, wouldn't it be nice to let him get a 9mm PCC with a can on it, nice short barrel, something compact that he can maneuver and manipulate for home defense? It's one of those things where, depending on what your engagement's going to be, for some people, the AR is going to be an easier, more accurate shooting option than trying to shoot their pistol. And we can argue, well, it's close distance, it don't matter, but that's not the point. The point is that it does offer some flexibility for people that may not be good with a handgun or people that physically can't hold up a handgun, right? So, I mean, they do have their place, All right. So, Foos, what about you? What would you say? Have you had any experience with AR-9s at all?
So whenever USPSA first brought out the PCC division, I bought one that was a straight 9mm, took Glock mags and all that stuff. I really didn't like it just because the setup was new. I've played with some tricked out ones. They are stupid flat shooting, like they feel like a 22. But as of recently, I've been looking around for something that's closer to my AR, because at my range, you cannot run around with a rifle and train, but you can with a PCC. So I'm looking into ARs that will take regular PMags, but the PMags guts are swapped out to hold a 9mm. So I'm kind of looking into that as far as a training, so I can shoot my AR, basically a 9mm AR that is identical to my rifle.
Okay. Yeah. So again, that's just one thing. Is if you're here's the advantage I see to the AR-9 versus the CZ Scorpion or the Ruger PC carbine or anything from CMMG. Well, CMMG kind of has the AR pattern themselves. when it comes to the AR-9, if you're heavily invested in the AR platform and you've got AR furniture sitting around, you've got internal components, you've got, Picatinny rail compatible optics or accessories and so on. I mean, it's very easy to transition over to an AR platform 9mm PCC because there's so much you can already do and so much you already know.
Mhm.
So maybe the learning curve is going to be a little bit less because it feels like your AR-15, but it's got less recoil.
They actually
have more.
Yeah, they actually have more recoil than your
low back style. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going to be familiar with what's going to happen. It's going to be comfortable for you to adjust. You might know the furniture well and so on.
Well, yeah, but you can also adjust your weight of your bolt and your buffer and spring and all that stuff, and you can get that down so it's not impacting the back of the buffer tube to where it feels a lot like your 9mm.
Yeah.
I mean your 223.
When you get them, you have options. You could even take an existing AR lower, depending on how you're going to do it and depending on how the lower was registered. You can just do the Glock mag conversion drop-in accessory that'll make it Glock mag compatible. Or you can also get. Go ahead.
Have you seen where you swap out the guts of your regular PMag?
Yeah, your regular PMag for the 9. And those are about $25 for one conversion kit. Is that what they run?
Something like that. I mean, not much.
I'm not opposed to it, but personally, I would rather get a standalone lower that is machined and manufactured to naturally take Glock mags without an adapter or without any extra accessories. I would personally go that route. Colt makes them. PSAs, I believe they're that route also. They have their own extractor machined into or removable from the lower. Yeah.
For me, it would depend on what you're going to use that for. Mm-hmm. Meaning, if you are going to be using that for, hey, it's going to be a training aid for my rifle, I want the mag just like my rifle.
True. Okay, that's a good point.
If it's going to be something else just to play around with, or range toy or truck gun to accompany your pistol, then you want the magazine to be the same as your pistol. But if you're going to say, hey, this is because I have range limitations that I can't shoot an AR, or maybe it's cost, because 9mm is quite a bit cheaper than 223. If you want to go that way, make sure everything is the same. So you run the same belt, run the same mags, stuff like that.
So what I love about the AR-9 is once you get the platform, once you're up and running, it doesn't necessarily going to be a big investment to convert something you already have to work or to get yourself a standalone gun. Plus you can tune it, modify it, do whatever you want to make it work best for you. Like Patrick Pew Pew says, I did mine for home defense. I don't want to blow my ears out. So you could be running, get a can on it, run some subsonic ammunition through it. You've got and with a shorter barrel pistol, AR pistol or AR-9 pistol, you can have a very compact form factor for CQB or home defense, or the truck gun or something that's not going to take up a lot of room. So you want to throw it on an ATV or whatever, right? So I like that flexibility that the AR-9 offers. You've got various furniture options whereas if you go with, say, again, a Scorpion or a PC carbine or whatever, an X-Star, they're sort of proprietary. You're sort of stuck with a certain form factor. Now, I know you can change things on them and modify them, but I like the flexibility of being AR compatible. I think that's really a good value option for people that don't have a PCC. I always feel like I'm trying to sell you guys on these, but I'm looking at the gun from a critical standpoint. Is it really worth investing in the platform and going and buying mags and getting an optic and dropping, say, up to $1,000 on something like this? Is it really going to work for you? The only thing I will say is, me personally, the Scorpion looks cooler, or the X-Star is a little bit cheaper, or who wouldn't want a lever gun, right? Those are just cool. So it really just comes down to personal preference in the end. But the flexibility of the AR-9 is the one thing that I really like about it the most.
Well, what I'm looking is right now I have an AR that has a dedicated 22 barrel and upper that I have a buffer in, and that buffer doesn't do anything. It doesn't move in that platform. I'm looking into getting another upper for 9mm to go ahead and do that, and then I'll swap that buffer out to something heavier, so that lower will be my 9mm and 22 lower, and I'll still have all the guts and stuff to where if I need to swap it to another AR, I can, within 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. But that is what I'm going to be looking into, since I already bought my Glock. So yeah. My next gun is going to be an AR-9 well, it's not going to be another gun. It's going to be an upper. So.
And here's the thing. I've got an AKV. I absolutely love it. The magazines are cheap for it. They're like sometimes on sale for $15.99. It's Scorpion mag compatible. I love my AKV, all right? But it's heavy. And for the $900+ I paid for it, I could have got just a simpler AR-9 for $6 and spent $200 on additional magazines, ammunition, training, and so on. I mean, it really, I mean, they're, you know, for what you want, you know, I really do think, and I'm not, again, I'm just trying to defend the AR-9 because a lot of people see it as an outdated platform, or maybe there's better stuff out there. There's more effective stuff out there. You know, I really do think it has a lot to offer. Tommy Gun out there says for $1,200 Canadian, which is probably what, about $1,000 USA currency, I can turn my X95 Tavor into a 9mm. So there's also a lot of conversion kit options for some of your guns out there. So you want to look into what's out there. I probably wouldn't want to buy something unless it was made by the manufacturer. The only thing aftermarket I would ever do to say to my AR would be to run the CMMG 22 conversion kit. But if the gun company itself made a standalone conversion kit, or I could buy an upper and there's some sort of magwell adapter I could get, I would probably go that route. In fact, that's probably what I'm going to do because I've already got pistol lowers. So to me, from an economic standpoint, I could just get the mag conversions, convert the mags to 9mm, slap a different upper on, and I'm ready to go and save a couple $100 on a lower. Because you can get 9mm uppers from like Bear Creek Arsenal for what, $250, $275, maybe even a little bit less. So again, in its defense, I think it really does have a lot to offer. Now let's talk disadvantages. Single shot, do you think there's any disadvantage to going with a traditional AR-9 versus, oh, single shot's gone. American Hillbilly, we're going to drop this one on you. Do you think there's any disadvantages going with a traditional AR-9 versus a high point carbine or a Ruger PC carbine or a CZ Scorpion? Do you see any disadvantages at all?
Man.
I do.
We'll get to you. Keep your hand down, Foos. We'll get to you. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and answer, buddy. I mean, because
all right, so help them out here, Foos. What would be some disadvantages aside from some issues you could have with modified mags or a drop-in adapter that's going to be finicky? So go ahead, Foos.
Boring. So if you always shoot one rifle or one pistol or whatever all the time, you get bored with that unless you are, hey, I am actually trying to get better with said firearm and really train, and that's your mentality. But if you're one of these people that have multitudes of guns, like, oh, which one do I want to go shoot today? If you're always shooting an AR, you're going to get bored with it. Whether it's, you know, going 9.
Okay, it depends on your mindset. Are you thinking
yes,
these are defensive tools and that's all I care about is using them effectively, or do you want to have fun at the range and take something that's kind of cool, that's got some flash to it? In fact, I'm going to show off what is it. Orange 9 has got a very sweet CZ Scorpion that I am incredibly jealous of, and it's like I would love to have that. It looks like a John Wick gun or something from like whatever, like Halo, you know. That's and you don't really get that wow factor from the AR, but there are some nice AR-9s you can get out there. I was just going to take a look at them quick here in a little bit before we move on and check out some of the platforms. But so boring could be the one thing. You're not going to, you know, maybe just don't have that that wow factor at the range. But for some people, that doesn't matter. But
right. And that's what I said. It's all up to how the person is. That, and of course, you know, you're not going to go out 200-300 yards with the 9mm PCC either.
Yeah, I think you'd be solid at 100 yards. I've done some velocity tests out of the barrel, and you'd be in pretty good shape. But
absolutely, I mean, I don't get me wrong. I've seen people take like a 10-inch plate at 200 yards with their, you know, PCC, no problem. But they've also trained for that as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, and you can customize your AR-9 to do. You could have it gold plated if you want to. You could you could SBR it if you wanted to. So, I mean, you've got a lot of good options. Bald and Curious says conversion for ARs are great for commie states like New York. I've got one AR that's e-registered or registered. If I build a 9mm AR, it would have to be compliant. With a conversion kit, I get all the features. So that's another option too. So, you know, a lot of places that might have detachable mags, there might be some regulations you got to follow or mag capacity limits, but there's a few. I mean, that's what I love about PCCs is you can make them work best for you. And again, you don't have to go 9. You can get some in 40 or 10mm or whatnot. But yeah, so the AR-9. So real quick, let's just take a look at, you know, what are we talking about here? If you're interested in examining the AR-9 platform, maybe we've convinced you it's something to look into. you know, you can always just get your upper and then do whatever you want for the lower. So like over at PSA, this is your least expensive AR-9 platform that they offer. And this is I believe it's a standalone Glock compatible lower, which is nice. There's no additional adapters required. $589. You don't get free shipping on it. You'll have to pay a transfer fee. But you're basically ready to go. I believe it comes with one mag. I think it's an ETS mag. It's got the EPT trigger. You drop an optic on it or some flip-up irons, and you're done, right? Now, we don't know what the future is going to hold for shockwave braces and SB3 braces. I personally don't care what ETS says, but
you can say the same. You can say the same thing about all firearms. So
yeah, this
don't
is true.
let that.
This is true.
Don't let that stop you from doing something.
Absolutely. So $589, which is kind of that sweet spot in between a lot of PCCs. You know, on the low end, you've got your high points that go for the mid 200s. On the high end, you've got CMMG that can run $1,200, $1,300, $1,400 or more. I'm sure B&T, right? There's other companies out there, and I really wasn't even going that high dollar this morning. So, but I mean, PSA offers a huge variety of platforms and layouts and barrel lengths. I would probably recommend at least like an 8.5-inch barrel, because at that point, yeah, you got the 3 points of contact, but if you go with like a 4.5-inch barrel or 5-inch barrel, you're probably only gaining like 100 feet per second velocity over your handgun, and your time and money might be better spent just shooting a full-size pistol or practicing with a full-size pistol. Now, you can get into the 16-inch barrels. I got a question for you. 16-inch 9mm PCC, are you going to start to get a velocity drop-off by the time that bullet reaches the end of the barrel? Because 16 inches, you've already expelled all the powder? No. Okay. Because I don't know if I've ever done. No, I did a Ruger PCC chronograph test, and I can't remember what the numbers are off the top of my head. So it did gain, I think, 200 or 300 feet per second and like 100 foot-pounds of energy versus like a 4-inch pistol barrel.
Yeah, you may not be building pressure, but you're not losing pressure.
Okay.
So between, let's say,
you'll maintain velocity until you exit the barrel.
Yeah, but let's say between 10 and 15 and 10 and 16-inch barrel, you're probably not gaining much.
Okay.
You're probably just staying consistent until it is.
So here's the question I have. Is there really any advantage to going with a 16-inch versus a 10-inch upper? I guess the 16 is going to give you technically a rifle length, and you could have the shoulder stock. Okay, so when then we go 10-inch, then you're going to be stuck with a brace, which you can make it work, you know.
Or an FA it.
Okay. You mean SBR it?
Yeah. Get on the tag stamp it.
Now on the high end, they've got some very, very nice looking guns though too. And again, I'm a fan of different companies, and I've always had good luck with PSA stuff. I just think this is cool, man. Some of these camo finishes they have, but you're also looking at $1,100 now. Of course, it's got an aftermarket trigger installed. It's got the Magpul furniture on it. You've got a custom camo finish with it. I just think it looks sweet. I don't know. This is pretty awesome. So, you have that as an option. And then PSA also has, if you go into complete guns, let's see, I think we're going to have to go back and start back at the let's see. Here we go. Okay, so they've also got the AKV, which is what I have, and there's a lot of different finishes and styles. Mine was around $8.99. I think I paid $7.69 or $8.69 for mine. I have this one right here. The AKV SBA3 MOE with OD green, $9.49. It's expensive, but it is solid. You can also you have 30 round mags, plus you can also get like a 20 round mag extension for it for like $25, and you can have 50 round mags if you want, which is not quite as bulky as say like a drum mag setup. And then you can spend upwards of $1,000 on these things if you want to, depending on the furniture style that you go for. If you want a folding stock and stuff. Mine currently has you can get banana clips for it, right? Mine currently has a Shockwave stability fin on it. I do have an SBA 3 or 4 for it also. Magazines run $16.99. They're usually in stock all day. So you have that as an option. And then they also have, what is it? Is it the ARP? I can't remember. What's the other PSA gun? We have the AKV. There's one we're missing here, guys. They have their sort of AR-9 pattern rifle. You guys are going to have to help me. I'm totally drawing a blank here. Here we go. Yes. Okay, so the PA9 maybe? No, ARV. I think E Honda has one of these. So these are also pretty cool too. They're a little more proprietary in nature, but you still get a lot of nice features when these are only $6.99. With an 8-inch barrel, that's not bad at all. That's a blemished model, but you won't really notice it. You've already got Magpul furniture on it. You've got M-Lock rail. You've got your SBA 3 brace on the back. Now, again, these might not necessarily be 50 stain compliant, which is something you're going to run into. Notice that they're all slick-sided. There's no forward assist or anything like that. There's no shell deflector. It's kind of sculpted into the ejection port right there. So you've got a ton of variety, if you want to go the AR-9 route. So I'm just now coming back. We got the dash cam going on with single shot or what? Is that what's going on there?
Yes, sir.
All right, sweet. All right, so Squib says he's back. Squib, we had called you on originally. I know you're brewing your coffee. What are your thoughts on the AR-9? Is it boring? Is it an outdated platform? Is somebody better off going with something fancier, so to speak? What do you think, Squib? What are your thoughts on the AR-9? I support it wholeheartedly because of the flexibility it offers, but what do you think?
My opinion on a lot of things newer.
Oh, no. Oops.
Innovation.
Okay, go ahead. What was that? I'm sorry.
I don't know. I just got some pop-up in the corner and everything.
No, I was trying to turn your volume up a little bit so we could hear you. It was a little quiet. I know you're probably roaming around, but yeah.
Oh, no, I'm at the desk. Normally I'm loud. My hearing, I always talk loud.
Okay.
Then you start the caffeine and it's time for the irascible one. Yeah, I'm brewing a second pot of this Puerto Rican coffee.
There you go.
So anyhow, I guess my stance on a lot of the newer stuff versus the older stuff is that the older stuff is interesting. The older stuff is still relevant. The new stuff is actually boring. All this stuff people call innovative it doesn't always excite me. I'm not saying I don't ever want a newer gun or a new gun, but when something gets released, I might be interested in it, but I won't run out and be the first one to buy it.
Well, I mean, even the AKVs had problems. They were launching unfired rounds back into the trigger pack when they first came out. They needed to have the MAC plate, military arms channel, because he discovered that problem because he was one of the first, beta testers for the AKV. And it turns out they had to kind of extend a plate to prevent shells from getting tossed back into the trigger group. So yeah, it isn't always necessarily a benefit to go buy something right away because it hasn't really, which blows my mind that didn't show up in testing with all these rounds they claim they put through these guns. How do these problems happen in the production models? It could be manufacturing issues. It could be a part supplier issue, I suppose, something made out of spec. But yeah. I guess I'm a little disappointed at sometimes the problems that we have with new guns with as much as they say, yeah, we've tested it to 25,000 rounds. It's and you didn't have this problem one time and you still sold the gun?
You also have to think the testing at 25,000 rounds or whatever, how fast do they do it? Do they heat the gun up how many times? Stuff like that. But, also something you said that, hey, we are, this is something new. There has nothing been new in firearms since the 20s or 30s.
Yeah, we're just getting a different sculpted body essentially, but a lot of the same internal mechanisms, the same firing system, the same ammunition, right? Yeah. Kevin June, in defense of the High Point, I've got a High Point 995. So do I. I've got an early Gen 1. If I'm going to defend myself, I'm not going to grab it. I have better options, but it is a great range toy, and if I had to, it's better than a pointy stick. My 995 eats any ammo. It's accurate. It's a little beast, man. I absolutely love it. So, Steven out there, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, Steven says my CX4 is black to go with my tuxedo. Yeah, the Beretta CX4 Storm. We're going to check that out here in a little bit, too.
I'm not opposed to newer guns, but the older guns have got a lot of character. And for me, they're just more interesting. It doesn't mean that I don't ever like newer guns, but I will say this. With the older guns, you know what you're going to get. Well, for a while, they've worked the bugs out of them, or they haven't. You know what problems to expect.
Well, something about the older guns is them trying to figure out exactly how to solve the problem, whereas now, the problem's already solved.
Or they create a problem where it never was, just to market it.
Yes. Yeah, so this is the new guns and stuff. It's the form factor's different. Yeah, there's a little tweak here or there, but they're all the same. Blowback's been around since with the MP18, if not way before.
Yeah, I was going to say World War II.
One.
One.
The MP18 was a blowback, fixed firing pin gun. But I mean, it was probably before that as well.
Yep.
I mean, there's nothing new. It's what's interesting is how they decide to solve the problems with the older firearms.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you're looking at it from a reliability standpoint and you want to go with tried and true, that is one way to look at it. As far as being in manufacturing,
I can tell you that the sales guys, in order to get the contract or the bid or market the product, will make promises to deliver that they can't keep, because the sales guys don't know as much about manufacturing and development and logistics as they claim to know. In my experience, it doesn't mean they don't know anything. Doesn't mean they're not part of the company, but they're in sales for a reason. Okay, their next step is politics. So in order to make that launch, you're going to ship product. In some cases, you just want to get it out there and get it in the public eye, and you don't care about a recall. I know that sounds stupid, but you're making so much off of it that the recall isn't going to cost you that much. If you're late on the delivery, you could contract, it could look bad. But the thing is, they're just looking at, they actually live for today. They don't care what happens on Monday. It's Friday, and they want to go up north to their cottage. So what are they going to do to just get through the weekend and then deal with it on Monday? And I know that sounds stupid, but that's the mentality of these people. As far as testing, sometimes the testing gets really deep into the weeds. And I mean, they test these things in ways that you'd never use them, because you've got an engineer or you got a test, a program manager or something that's kind of like, let's try this, let's try that, or whatever. Or something happens during the testing that they never planned on, and they're like, we need to market this. We did this by mistake, and look what it did. Right. But overall, though, they've got a schedule, they've got a deadline. And when you make a design change to one part at one end of this finished good, it changes all the other parts. Now you've got to do this. You got to do, does it fit that tooling? It's stupid. If you make a change to a mold or a die, it could take 8 weeks before it comes back from the shop. You know, sometimes you can do some changes in-house, a little minor this and that, and get it back in the machine and run it, and then you got to tweak it and do this and adjust the process and adjust it. But other times when you actually send it out for a redesign, 8 weeks, I've never understood that. But that's how long, that just delays everything. So sometimes this is a desperate attempt to be on time. Our last 3 launches came out 6 months late. We don't want to do it this time. It's kind of like when they launched the Challenger. NASA had a bad rep of delaying these launches, and they go, no, screw it, launch the thing because we've delayed so many, and to hell with the safety, and then the damn thing blows up, right? So that's the same sort of mentality with production, is that when you make a delivery, how many of these guns have they shown at SHOT Show and then they never make it to market, or it takes 2 years? But yet we're going to be shipping this spring, and it doesn't happen.
I'm still waiting on that Yeet Cannon Gen 2 from High Point with the threaded barrel, the sub $200 with the RMR cut. I've been waiting for that. And the problem is that, and again, I don't want to get away from the discussion of PCCs, but it's going to come out, and I'm just not excited about it anymore, because now I've got the Dagger, and now I've got, you know, the Stoker STR9, and now I've got a slew of other sub $200 or $300 guns that are just as capable, that don't keep my interest, you know.
But
so
you're talking
you snooze, you lose. So yeah.
But you're talking about with regard to production and why these things have defects, or why that. All right, if your competition's putting a PCC out there and they've done their due diligence, and you're trying to play catch up and you're trying to get it out before them or at the same time or compete with them, you're going to cut corners sometimes.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not saying it's a company policy. It's an individual program manager or engineer or test technician or somebody who fudges the numbers and just, like I said, goes off for the weekend to go enjoy their. And it sounds terrible, but that's manufacturing everywhere. America, overseas, doesn't. The other thing too is you brought up suppliers. All right, somewhere through there, the parts supplier goes out of business, or something else happens, or they get a bad lot of material, or whatever it is, and now you've got this part that was made by Company X who isn't making it anymore, and now they've got to scramble to get something on there, and you get one of the ones with a bad lot, a rushed lot. They didn't work out problems. You might go, how hard is it to make? It really isn't, but these people add red tape to justify their jobs, and it makes it more difficult. So if you get one of the early ones and it works great, and then somebody gets one of the later ones and says it's crap, there's a legitimate reason behind it. I'm not saying it's an excuse. It really should. But these sorts of things happen with manufacturing, and it's terrible for the consumer at the end of the day. So somebody might complain that this is a bad gun, but they got one at the wrong time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would just wait and see if there's some consistent reviews that come out there, right? American Hillbilly, what do you think, man?
I'm just gonna say, man, go find you an AR-9 that takes your Glock mags and have fun, buddy. I mean, that's what we do around here. So
absolutely,
it is a lot of fun.
Another thing is, what do they have in stock? For example, I like New Frontier Armory. They never have anything in stock. As soon as I get an email notification, it's in stock. It's like if I don't buy it within a day or two, they're out of stock again. And they got a factory. It's like, what are you guys doing?
It could be just demand. Everybody's on a waiting list, and once those notifications show up, everybody. I remember the AKV. It took me 3 or 4 months to get one. Every time I get a notification that it was in stock, every time I go sit down in front of a computer, it was gone. So eventually, I stopped. I went through my phone, logged in, and then I bought my AKV and got one. I was like, oh my God, it was the only one in stock in that color. It was like, that's the only one that they had, and I managed to snag it. But
you mean Foust didn't buy it out from underneath you?
No, I did not get, that's one of the few times I did not get Foust. So yeah, one of the few times. So
you also have to think sometimes that, hey, this is in stock. That in stock may be 10 guns or 10 things. Mm-hmm. It's not, hey, we just dropped 1,000 of them. Going back to, hey, we need to rush this, rush that, for this product line. Like, what people don't understand is all these product lines, has a product team that's dedicated to that. There's very few times where you have, one person over, 7 or 8, at least, day in, day out over 7 or 8 different firearms or product lines. So it's whatever that product line says, hey, we're ready to go for return on investment, because that's what, it is a business. It's a return on investment. So if it costs you, let's say it costs you $10 million to produce something, and you could get it out, in March and recoup that $10 million before the end of summer. Whereas if you sell it at the end of summer, that return on investment, because it's going to the winter, may be a heck of a lot longer. You're going to release it in March, and just like what Squib said, if there's recalls, okay, we're going to get our return on investment so much sooner. We could soak up the recalls.
Yeah, it wouldn't work for your own personal finances if you ran like this, but in a business, it's entirely different. And I'm telling you, I've sat in these meetings with these guys. Bruce is absolutely right. And they're there with their charts and their graph, and they love saying ROI and synergy and things like that. And I just listen. On investment. It's not going to work. The company I work for just sank a bunch of money into something, hoping that they would get a big fat return. And I'm like, they don't even see the forest for the trees, or the trees for the forest, or whatever. They literally spent more money right now than they're going to ever make back on this, and they can't see it. But they got the charts and the graphs, and it looks good on paper. And in the end, the consumer's the one who pays for it.
Real quick, Baldwin Curtis's comment.
Buddy, try to get avocados for your avocado toast.
There you go, man. They're going to just invest heavily in avocados. So, Baldwin Curious said, if you get the lower and build the AR, if you go through like Delta Team Tactical, you can have a 9mm AR, like an AR-9, for under $500. So again, I'm always showing off PSA, but there's Radical Firearms, there's Bear Creek Arsenal, there's Delta Team Tactical. So yeah, if you want to go that route, you want something simple, you want a defensive tool, you want to learn how to shoot something well, just do some investigation. You've got a lot of great options. So now we're going to start to move away from the AR-9 form factor and go into more of these proprietary style guns where they might not necessarily take the Glock mags, or they may not follow any kind of compatibility with AR-15 components. So the first one that we have is the CZ Scorpion. Now, Orange 9 reached out to me and asked me to show off his build, which this thing is absolutely gorgeous. This is the Ice Warrior by Northland, and it's a CZ Scorpion. I guess you could say it's I don't know about the internals, but he's got a lot of great parts on the outside, flash can, hollow sun. I'll go ahead and hit play, and you guys can check this out. So Orange 9, you're probably going to get a copyright notice that I've been using clips of your video. He's got his drum mag in there. He's got his flashlight mounted on there. If you really want something that's going to, really get some attention at the range, that would be kind of your apocalypse gun, this is probably going to be it. You got the fold around brace on it. He's got thousands of dollars invested into it, probably not even on top of the price of the gun, which it's a beautiful build. I think it's absolutely awesome. Me, I would probably want that SBA3 brace to be painted to match the rest of the gun, but it has like a metallic sheen to the paint that they used on it. It's all like an ice paint. It looks really, really cool. I think it's neat. I just think it looks very, very cool. It's something very tactical. So this just shows you. Yeah, they did an amazing job on it. The company, I think you shipped it off to them. And what's cool is, they took out all the screws, all the levers, all the release mechanisms, and didn't get paint on that, where a lot of us would just be out back with a can of Cerakote and leaves making our own little prairie camo, if you will. So it does show you the possibilities of when you get into these things, like what you can actually do. So I do want to mention the Scorpion. I'm sure I'm not going to cover every single, PCC that's out there, but I'm trying to kind of bank on some of the more popular PCCs that are out there. So we'll take a look at the Scorpion, maybe talk a little bit about the pros and the cons. I've never had an opportunity to shoot one. I'd like to. I considered buying one instead of getting the AKV, but I think the Scorpion was maybe a couple $100 more. And I just wanted the rugged durability of the AKV because it's all steel, it's all metal, aluminum. I kind of like the rugged AK origin of it, if you will. So why don't we go on over to CZ real quick and go visit my relatives in the Czech Republic. So again, the Scorpion line comes out in a variety of flavors and calibers, if you will. You can get a lot of the micro pistol style ones if you want to. And again, I consider, the carbine thing, we could argue what the carbine length would be considered, but pistol caliber carbine, pistol caliber, compact carbine, whatnot, what have you. Here's a bullpup kit for you if you want to try that. That looks pretty cool. You can convert your Scorpion to a bullpup style if you want to.
That's the one my eye went to.
Which one?
The bullpup.
Yeah.
You have one of those?
No, that's what my eye went to.
Oh, your eye went to. I didn't even know they made. I had no idea they even made one. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
But these even again, you can get your brace adapters on them if you want to. You can go 5.56 or 9mm. Here's your Evo 3 S1 pistol, and you can get adapters for the back if you want to, so you can put your brace on it, or you could also just go an SBR if you want. It's always an option. The only real, I can't really think of any cons. I think at this point it's probably a fairly well-tested platform. There's always going to be some lemons out there, but I think CZ makes quality firearms. I own CZ, and I do like them. I'm not going to say I'm a fanboy because I don't celebrate their entire catalog, but I do have some of their firearms, and what I have is very well built.
Emotional damage.
Emotional damage?
Yeah, you said that you don't, own their entire.
Yeah, I need to own more of their firearms. Yeah. So here's the thing, though. You're looking at $1,255 for MSRP, but you got a 20+1 mag capacity. But you can also get those AKV mags, which are also compatible with it. So you can have up to a 50-round capacity with a 20-round extension on the bottom. I think it's 50 rounds. But they do come standard as 30. So the AKV mags for $16.99 would be great. There's a ton of accessories out there for this gun now. You could probably replace every component on this gun short of what the licensed firing part actually is and have an enhanced upgraded gun like we just showed you with the Ice Warrior. So I've never actually held one or shot one. Have you guys ever fired one of these before? Anybody have any experience with them at all?
No,
I fired.
No,
What was your take, Foos? Was it braced at all? Did you get a chance to really try it, or what do you think?
It was an SBR version. It feels like a blowback. If you have any blowback, other than the BMTs, it's just a blowback. It's a sharp recoiling because that you have a big heavy bolt hitting the back of your receiver, and that's what you feel.
Yeah, it does have a bit of a thud. I was surprised with the recoil I feel for my AKV, but there's a lot that bolt is pretty substantial. There's a lot of mass there that's going back. Not that it's a big deal, but if you think you're going to just have just rapid fire, just little sub MOA groups, it's probably not going to happen. Although my AKV is very, very accurate with the iron sights. I love it. I don't know if I ever want to get rid of it. It's such a, and the way mine's set up, it's got the M-lock on it, and I do have a flashlight on it too. It's sort of set up for home defense, but I mainly rely on my handguns for home defense because I've got such a small place where I live. Plus, it's an apartment, so I got to be very careful with my shot placement. But, nothing wrong with this. This is a great route to go. There's tons of modifications out there for it, tons of kits out there for it, aftermarket triggers. You can do whatever you want. So the Scorpion, always a good choice. I'm sure you can probably find these on sale for like $8.99 or $9.99 if you get out there and look around. And there's all these different, different options that you can go with if you want to. So. Real con to it, proprietary mags, I suppose, versus Glock mags. That might be the only thing I could think of. But with its design, it sort of has to have its style of banana clip mag.
But PSA makes them.
Yeah, you can get it for $16.99 if you don't want to. You're not stuck with the proprietary CZ mags. So
it's a very good. It's a true double stack. So it's a very reliable magazine. You can fit more into the same length than a Glock because Glocks have to go down into a one a single feed system.
Okay. Okay.
Quicker to reload because you don't have to push down and push in. It's just a straight push down.
I mean, you could train with something. I mean, this is just a nice compact, firearm that you could have that would give you maybe. And again, for somebody who's not good with a handgun, you might be able to brace this and be a little more accurate with it and so on. So I think it offers a lot for somebody who's looking for a 9mm PCC. Yeah, and the bullpup conversion kit's pretty awesome too. I do like that. All right, now we'll head over to the next PCC that's also incredibly popular. We've got your Ruger PC carbine, which I love. I do enjoy the fact that they now offer it with the Magpul stock from the factory. And looking around, you can get it cheaper than it would be if you bought the gun and the stock separate. The only catch is you don't get the original stock furniture. You don't get the original furniture with the rifle if you buy it with the Magpul furniture from the factory. Well, duh, right? But you might like that straight traditional rifle feel to the original PC carbine furniture, and you're not going to get that if you go the Magpul route. But the Magpul route does offer a cool method of transportation and takedown that I like even better than the original takedown style of the PCC. So let's go over to Ruger for just a minute. Go ahead.
One thing in addition to some of these other PCCs over the AR style is these other PCCs, if you have like a folding stock or folding brace, however, you could fire it in those configurations because of where the recoil spring is at.
Unless you'd happen to have a 9mm PCC that's piston driven, which I'm sure there's somebody out there that makes one, like maybe Bravo Company or LMT makes one, or there's probably somebody out there that does a piston style.
Well,
platform,
there's no piston or gas needed.
Well, that's true. That's true because we're talking blowback again. Yeah. But you're still a lot of them still have a buffer tube off the back though, so it's still there. Yeah. But you do have that as an option. I do like how this folds up.
The SIG MPX has dual recoil springs in the upper.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't even think about SIG. We'll probably have to bring them up too. So again, PC carbine, I fired this. They're awesome. You got a threaded barrel. The iron sights are great. You pop a red dot on the top. Takedown and cleaning is a little bit of a chore, but it's not bad. If you do it a couple times, you get used to it. The cool thing about the Magpul stock that you can get for it, aside from, in my opinion, maybe better ergonomics or more tactical ergonomics, you can store a magazine in the buttstock, and then it basically clips together. So that would make it super easy to transport. Maybe get a custom case for it. You'd have a very small form factor for travel, although it's not a big deal to separate your upper and lower from an AR-9 if you want to transport it in a backpack or a tennis bag or something like that, depending on what your method of transportation is. I see this as being a good truck gun. It's also ambidextrous, which is nice with the charging handle and the magazine release, which is also a bonus. That's the other thing, too. There might not be a lot of left-hand compatibility with a lot of the pistol caliber carbines out there. There are some options, but there may not be as many, as say something like this, which already has ambidextrous function built into it. So let's see. American Hillbilly, have you ever fired a Ruger PCC yet? Have you ever tried one of these?
I guess he's walked away.
Might be away from the keyboard. Okay, I'm not checking the private chat, so he probably said he had to step away. There we go.
I stepped away for a second there, buddy.
Yeah, no, go ahead, man. Ruger PCC, do you have any experience with that at all?
Yeah, actually, I have fired one of those. I really like it. I mean, it's great along with, the high point and some of those. I mean, they're just, I know there's probably a lot of haters out there, but I mean, it's just a great little gun to have fun with. What I really like about it is, having 3 daughters, these type of guns are easy for them to shoot, and they can be fairly accurate with them, And so, and some people, it's not the scary look as like what you get with an AR. Or
this might be more compatible with certain states. You could go with, and with the Glock mag adapter, you've got a ton of options for magazine capacity. If you're in a magazine limited state, maybe this is all you can have. I'm just saying that it does offer a lot of flexibility. I will say this: it feels very substantial. It is heavy. You feel like you're getting $700 worth of gun. There's been times where I've shot guns before that are like $1,000. And it's like, how do these components justify $1,000 or $1,200? There's just, and this thing has got some weight to it. You feel like you're getting, it's got a nice substantial bolt to it. You got a nice cold hammer forged barrel. I just feel like I'm getting my money's worth if I buy something like this. And I do like that out of some firearms sometimes. Maybe it's just me being stupid. I don't know.
So wait a second. You don't think that the Ruger it looks scary. Have you ever seen the PPSH? Wait, hold on. The PPSH looking one. Dude, if you're German, oh God, heck no. Yeah, right there.
This was in Enemy at the Gates, wasn't it? Wasn't this in Enemy at the Gates?
That's scary as hell, right there.
Dude, that thing is awesome. It's heavy as heck, also
it's
because
heavy.
you have the added weight of the handle.
It's heavy.
That sucker's what is the weight on this thing? Does it mention the? Oh, 7 pounds, so it weighs more than my fully loaded AR-15, but still, you know.
It weighs loaded more than your empty sent me.
Yeah, that is crazy. That thing is massive, dude. Well, not now because I got that huge Picatinny rail on it.
True.
Still, you know, before, yeah, with just the plastic furniture on it. But I mean, I like and the fact they're all takedown models is really cool, and there's a lot of cases and transportation options for you. So, and Chris from the 740's got a highly modified PCC, if I'm not mistaken, and he runs that in competition. You can completely transform this thing into whatever you want. The parts support on the PCC, the Ruger PC carbine is incredible. What's out there? I was very impressed by it. And just to kind of get the word out there, Defense Dad, he might be having one for sale if anybody's interested. So I'm just going to say it. This chat's unmonetized anyway, so I don't care. Just give you guys a heads up. So if you're interested, let me know, and we'll put you in touch with Defense Dad. So yeah. So anyway, and you get the Ruger mag compatibility. If you're Ruger heavy, whatever, you've got that, and you also get the adapter for Glock mags. So I ran it with Ruger mags, and it ran fine. I had no problems at all. Ran all the ammo that I could run through it. They're cool. They're cool. I do enjoy those. All right, we're gonna keep things moving, because otherwise I'm gonna come off as a Ruger fanboy. So Foos, I know this isn't your favorite brand, but we're gonna talk about it anyway because they have a presence. They advertise heavily. They do make a slew of PCCs in a variety of different calibers. CMMG, Foos, what do you see as the flaw with CMMG? What is it, or do you not anymore? Because you had mentioned it, I had never heard of any issues with them, but I've never owned one or fired one.
No. The only issue I have is their delayed blowback thing is. Is
that on all of them or not?
No, they're Banshees now.
Okay. Oh, just the Banshee series.
It's just highly unneeded. It's like, hey, we're going to do this. Okay, it's not needed. Like,
is there any advantage whatsoever versus just traditional blowback?
Well,
style?
The only
a little bit lighter recoil or what?
The only advantage is a little bit lighter on your bolt, because there is ever so slightly delay, but it's not enough.
I mean, are you ever going to shoot enough to wear the gun out in your lifetime? If you compete, you could say yes, but I would imagine.
But if you compete, you're going to wear.
99% of your average owners are never going to wear their guns out unless they really, really run them hard, or they're competitive, or
Even if you compete, no matter what gun you have, it's going to break.
Yeah. So
that's not going to matter.
Here's the thing, we are talking about $400 more than a comparable PSA model. I mean, you get whatever you want, guys. We don't care. We're not knocking on any of these things. We're not ripping on them.
I am absolutely not.
Foos will. I don't have enough experience.
I will too.
I know, but okay.
I will too. Hey, you know what? Everybody's entitled to their opinion. Yeah. If you don't like it, don't listen.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. When we're giving each other crap, we're just giving each other a hard time. That's one thing. We're joking around. When we're being a little bit more serious, it shows how important these things are to us, or what we think of them, and it also gives us a chance to maybe look at something from a different perspective. We might walk away, not say anything, but you might be there going, never thought about that before. It doesn't mean that you've changed my mind, you've converted me, or any of that other garbage.
So
sometimes we to bring the things to the surface. That's all.
Here's one, guys, and whoever wants to answer this, I'm going to let you take the lead on it. Why buy a PCC? What is the advantage of a PCC versus an AR-15 or just a handgun? Why buy a PCC? First of all, the answer is because you can is not the answer I want. What does the PCC have? Like I mentioned with my dad, he needs something he can support with both arms because he can't physically hold up a pistol for extended lengths of time. So for him, that's what he needs. He shoots his AR pistol like a champ. He sucks at his handgun. Actually, I bought his handgun from him, not his only handgun, but I bought one of them because he just didn't like shooting it. It was too heavy for his shoulder. No matter how much he works out, he can't because of physical limitations. But why buy a PCC? Who wants to take the lead on this one?
I mean, I have my reasons. I think we all have different reasons. One, it's manual of arms. I'm going to go with the CAR-9 or some other AR-based platform. Although the Ruger PCC, one day, maybe, who knows? But whatever it is, whether it's kind of AK-ish or it's based off of some other existing platform, or it looks like it's about the same weight, the manual arms the same. There's that familiarity. So you've got that. So you're looking for something that's shorter range, that maybe uses the same ammunition as your sidearm, maybe even uses the same magazines as your sidearm for compatibility. You don't need that reach out and touch someone kind of thing. You're looking for short range, maybe capacity, maybe not. That's another thing. Some of the mags that are available,
the 50-round mags on AK,
right,
you can get some drum mags running on some of these,
So if you're looking for that compatibility, that portable size, a smaller size, the manual of arms, it might come into play, it might not. That's kind of where I'm looking at a value in it. I mean, for example, I'm looking at getting an AR. Well, okay, it's a carbine length, so I don't have to worry about SBR or any of that brace garbage or any of the other stuff. But I'm looking at getting a carbine length AR in 40 Smith & Wesson for close-up deer hunting. That might sound kind of stupid, but it's because the low-capacity magazines I can get for it are only in 40. So in order to comply with the hunting laws, but yet have something that's an AR, which I'm very comfortable with, this is something. I'm not saying that it's the top of my list. It's been on unavailable for a long time. So for me, I want something that I can use in where I'm going to be taking the 35-yard shot because the trees are that thick, that sort of thing. And then if I want to make it, if I want to make it compatible with the sidearm that I carry while I hunt, I could do that, right?
We can sit around and argue for days. There's always going to be something better in somebody's mind. You can say, well, I can just run a 300 blackout pistol with a cannon. I'm superior to your 9mm PCC. We could argue this for days. I'm just saying that it does offer a lot of options for somebody, depending on where you live, depending on the limitations on things, depending on what you're most comfortable shooting. Somebody made a point there, 3 to 4 points of contact for increased accuracy, maybe easier for somebody to use, right? Hunting applications, depending on what you're doing, hog hunting and so on, right? I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying that there's a lot of reasons why a person might want it. Mag compatibility. Tony York said ammo and mag compatibility. Mm-hmm. You got a 44 mag sidearm. You got a 44 mag lever gun. Boom, done. Problem solved. You got your rifle.
There are some people that reduce the number of calibers they have because of space or cost. I don't always think that's a good idea, but it ain't my money. It ain't where I live. So if that's what you want to do, and you're trying to get everything down to 9mm, right? This one-stop shopping, right?
Okay. Foos, what about you? Anything Squib didn't mention that kind of stands out to you?
For me,
advantage
it would be advantage of what?
A PC, or what? Why buy a PCC if you can already do with your pistol, your battle carbine? Yeah.
For me is training. Like in my situation, I could shoot rifles. That's fine. I could shoot pistols. That's fine. At my range, you could only move around with a pistol. Pistol caliber something. You can't. There's no range in the rules that you could run around with a rifle caliber. So what I want to do is get an upper so I can run my rifle with a pistol, PCC, but everything is the same as my rifle, so I can practice transitions. I could practice stuff that I need, that I want to do.
I mean, there's a lot of ranges. Look, here's another one. Many ranges only allow pistol rounds. Low flash. I'd rather shoot a 9mm PCC than with a short barrel than an 8.5-inch barrel AR-47. I can tell you that I've done that, and it's not pleasant. Not for extended range sessions. It would get the job done, but it's not fun.
Right.
When you got a camera flash going off in front of your face but if you're out in the open, it's not as bad as when you're underneath baffles. Okay, American Hillbilly, what about you? Why go PCC? Why go buy that high point carbine for $250 where for $150 more, I can have an AR-15? I'm giving you the hardest questions. I should have prompted you that this was going to be a lesson today, man.
Well, for me,
there will be a quiz when we're done, class.
Yeah, from my experience is, especially when you have people that is not as experienced as you might be or something like that, they can grab that, rifle, 9mm, if it's a high point, the rear, rig or whatever the platform might be, and they have better aim with it and better accuracy, and you can just see the joy on their face. Whereas, handing them a hand cannon or 5.56 or something,
Yeah.
something that's going to blow their eardrums out, and they just seem more comfortable with it and more accurate, and so it really kind of interests them into it, and they love to do it. And for me, yes, there's home defense and all that, but the joy of being out there and shooting and being able to bust some bullseyes and stuff like that, that person feels more comfortable and they really had a good day.
Here's an analogy that some people might understand. The pistol caliber carbine is the crossover SUV of vehicles. Like it doesn't excel very good as a full-size SUV, but it's also not a car. It offers a lot of flexibility in its application, and overall it's just a pleasant experience. So there you go. It's a crossover SUV. The crossover SUV of firearms, the PCC. I don't even know why I'm saying that, but that's what it reminds me of.
Would you say a PCC would compete with a shotgun then in that role?
I'm going to say, well, you're going to have much more, well, depending on what your gas system you're running, I would say shotguns can have a lot more recoil, probably be heavier and a little bit more unpleasant for somebody to use if they had to. I mean, man, that's a good question, because you could get a nice home defense shotgun that's going to be effective at short distances also. And I don't know. I mean, that's almost a completely different class. It would be hard to compare the two together just because of the distinct advantages of one over the other.
Well, I like that the first thing you went to was recoil. Now, if somebody's going, why should I get this PCC over this shotgun? Because the shotgun might be cheaper or something like that. The very first thing, recoil. And that's a good point, I think.
Your teenage daughter's at home. Okay, you trained her to fire the pistol caliber carbine. You said, sweetie, it's over here. If there's ever an emergency, somebody kicks in the door, you know where the safe is, or you know where to get the firearm. Door gets kicked in, multiple assailants roll in, because you can say, well, you're never going to. I see home defense videos where it's 2 to 3 people rolling in somebody's home. She gets the 12 gauge, gets the first shot off. She's trying to recover from the recoil and get the second shot on point. But with the PCC, she's got 15 or 20 rounds in the attacker.
Wait. That's it? Hold on. That's it? You could go out to MBX and you could, if you want to, you could have 57 rounds in a mag. Straight mag.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying that the possibility of being able to have quicker follow-up shots for multiple assailants would be the reason why I'd push for a PCC, or even maybe a suppressed PCC versus, which is going to be very light shooting, versus, say, a 12-gauge shotgun. Although the 12-gauge shotgun would be the more budget-friendly approach. But it depends on the kid, depends on the training, depends on whatever. In general, I'd say the PCC is a little more pleasant to shoot. I would probably move somebody up that I'm taking to the range for the first time, kind of let them play with the PCC for a while, and then move them over to an AR so they can kind of feel the difference between them. Overall weight, generally, some of these PCCs are very light. Like a braced CZ Scorpion is probably going to be lighter than that Ruger PC carbine with the full PPSH aluminum handguard on the front. That thing probably pushes 8 pounds, right? 7 pounds, 8 pounds. So, I mean, you could argue back and forth. Let's have some fun real quick here. I want to show off something. Hey, Squib, I have an anonymous email that I received, and somebody wants to show off the PCC that they think you need to buy. So let's go. We're going to show off what Squib definitely needs to get here. Here we go. Squib, this one's for you. This is from an anonymous email. It's the F1 Firearms Galaxy Fitted UDP-9 skeletonized mermaid. You live next to the ocean, don't you, up in Michigan? So you need a mermaid rifle. AR-9, 17-round, 9mm, 16-inch pistol caliber carbine. Look at that. Look at that magic right there. Now, I love F1 Firearms. I love what they do because I think it's cool that they're willing to take a chance at release something like this. It does need a stock that's for $2,000. The stock really does need a Galaxy finish. It really needs that purple swirly thing going on.
What the F1 is this?
That's a gun that's going to blend in with Thanos, or going to blend in with characters from Monsters Inc. It's going to blend in. That's the Mermaid AR-9. It's the Mermaid, man. That thing is awesome. Your kids are going to want one. Luckily, it's out of stock for you, Squib.
Yeah, luckily.
So that's one that
I'm not ashamed to go into this casino called Mermaids, but I'm not going to be seen at the range with this.
Hey, if you give it to me, I'm going to take that and shoot it. I would never refuse a firearm from somebody. Now,
maybe if it came with a can of Krylon flat black.
Oh, Tommy gun, mic drop comment. The My Little Pony of PCC.
Oh God!
You ever have to watch an episode of My Little Pony with your kids? I've sat in and watched it with my nieces before. They do gear some of the jokes towards adults. I'm not a brony. Okay, I'm not like that, but I've seen episodes of it, and because I was curious, because that My Little Pony came out in the 80s, and while I was playing G.I. Joe, the girls on the block were playing with their My Little Ponies. So Here's another
Girls
one.
on the block. Okay.
Yeah, he watched My Little Pony after She-Ra went off air.
No, I never watched She-Ra, actually. I watched G.I. Joe, Transformers. Silverhawks was pretty cool, but it wasn't as good as G.I. Joe or Transformers. I do have to admit, they would sometimes sneak an episode of Gem in there after G.I. Joe, before Transformers. But remember, Gem had the same voice characters as G.I. Joe. So Duke was actually Gem's boyfriend, and Flint was like their manager. So they actually used the same voices.
Try to write this.
What the heck are you talking about?
Yeah, it's already capsized, Travis.
Let's take it back. Okay, so now we're going to show Squib another gun that he absolutely. I'm just going to say it right now. In my opinion, this is an abomination. What I'm about to share with you guys.
I can't believe New York Outcast is not out in the audience. He's missing all of this.
All right, so here we go. We're going to show off. Here we go, Squib. You know you want this. Tony York, this one's for you, bro. We've got the lever action AR-9. Look at that. Lever action AR-9. This is real. This is real. This is
no, this is not real. This is
not
fake.
This is not an April Fool. This was September 21st, 2021 TFB. So here you go. This is the American Brickworks X Manufacturing belt fed. Oh, they make a belt fed bullpup lever action rifle.
Oh my god.
So here you go, guys.
Where's the lever?
It's right here in front of the pistol grip.
Oh, I see it. Oh,
that's it right there. That will make everybody happy. So it's not.
I just went to the company website. This is real.
You know you want one. Look. I'm not going to hit play because I'll get copyright strike. But look at this. This is legit. Don't laugh. You know you want one.
What's the MSRP on this thing? Oh my goodness! It's £1,600.
More than you can afford.
Oh, no, that's for the straight pull. What does this cost?
Is it this one? Like the Red Ride R? Red Ride AR? Look at that. Oh my god.
There's even a video on this thing.
Oh, look at this. You know you want one.
Thank you. YouTube. Look at that furniture. You can get. My God.
It's probably New York Outcast compatible.
Can I? Yeah, it's definitely that. Build your own rifle. You got to build it. Nah, see, I want an out the door price. I want to know what this thing would cost. If it was like
here's one for Tony. Tony,
$300 or $400, I would buy it and make a video on it.
Here you go, belt-fed bullpup lever action rifle chambered in 44 mag. Oh, Tony, it's time to upgrade, my friend. Look at that. Look at that.
This is another question nobody asked, but I mean,
no.
Somebody out there said,
"Can we get a T&E? Can we get a T&E gun? I'll supply my own ammo." How do you even
somewhere was sitting around on the toilet and they said to themselves, "How could I make a lever action 44 mag bullpup rifle? How can we do this?" And you know what? They did. Look at that vertical foregrip on there. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. This is real, people. This is real. I have no idea what that is. But anyway, this is real.
This is a question. This is like, hey, let's do this because we can and people want to spend money.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm telling you. Here's
yeah. No,
so now that we're
totally like that, if this British Southern Gun Company would send me one, I'd do a video. I can't stand doing range videos. I'd do a video. If this was like $300 or $400, I might buy it just to be like,
it's probably what do you say, 1,200 pounds? 1,200 pounds.
They had a straight pull. They had a complete built straight pull for 1,600 pounds. All right, you can get a Cali key and drop it in your AR, and you've got a straight pull, which eventually I plan to do with one of my ARs. But
so it's a So this is a British one, okay? Because they can't have semi-autos over there.
Right.
Yeah, that's what Patriot in the Dark says. And that's another reason why you should leave England as soon as possible. Please come become an American citizen. We want you here. Man. Proof that PT Barnum was right. Tony York, mic drop comment number 2. Aside from the My Little Pony edition, there you go. There's a sucker born every minute.
All right, they're giving you features that people want, but they've got to do something to the action to make it compliant. That's what the Cali compliant. If you want an AR-15 in California and you want to have everything on it that you normally would not be able to get on it, you can if you drop in a charging handle that makes it a straight pull. It's a single shot, but now you've got the bayonet lug, the muzzle device. You don't need the bullet button, all this other. And you might go, well, that's just stupid. I get it, but they're not working around the law. They're working within the law. They're making it in California. I've actually considered getting one of these and dropping it in one of my ARs just to have a straight pull AR, and you might go, that's kind of stupid. I don't know. I kind of like the idea of it. The lever action, yeah, but not for no 1,600 pounds.
Oh man, that's probably about actually 18 or 1900 American, because I think it's more. It's 1 pound is what, like $1.25 US or something. I don't think the pound's ever really been in our favor for an exchange rate. Not the British pound sterling, no.
Yeah, I just looked it up, Travis.
Yeah.
1,200 pounds is equal to $1,419.
Yeah, see, I'm gonna go get that BM59 for that kind of money.
All right, we're gonna keep moving on. We're gonna go ahead and let that go. Let's forget that ever happened. I know we're gonna need some therapy to make those thoughts disappear. Now, Tony was saying they're gonna talk about what they say. Tony's got a Little Mermaid obsession. You said expect Jimmy and I to cover Travis and my Little Mermaid fixation. Okay, so here's another great. Where's that other comment at? Somebody said something. Was it what? Gem was outrageous. That's right, because how did the Gem theme song go? Gem is outrageous. Was it slightly contagious? Gem is her name. Gem, is that how the theme song went? I don't know, because it was always on after G.I. Joe. So
do you guys realize what he's doing here?
Indoctrinating? No, I'm just kidding. All right, so let's go over to XTAR. Let's go ahead and change pace. Let's go back to something a little more.
This is the one. This is one that's made in Lake Havasu City, Arizona, I believe. And then the upper and lower one piece. It's one piece molded or something, isn't it?
I believe so, yeah. So when you take it apart, maybe you have to unscrew things and pull parts off of it to disassemble. I mean, everything comes out through the front or the back or something like that. I'm guessing. I've seen videos on it. We have people that doesn't MK Outdoor Journal have one? Doesn't he have an EP9? Doesn't Mike have one? I thought he did. I don't know. So this one's also Glock mag compatible, 449, American made, lightweight. Honest Outlaw Reviews tested one, and I think he had good luck with it. You've got a AR compatible grip, so if you don't like the grip, you can change it. Has its own stability fin on the back of it. Has a little flash can on the front there. They were going to do, I think, a 10 millimeter at one point, and I don't think those ever actually happened. But again, it's very polymer based. So you buy whatever you want to buy. You purchase whatever interests you the most. But again, it looks like a pretty good gun. Warranty, what do we get on this one? I'm kind of curious. Is it lifetime? Limited warranty cover defects, material, and workmanship, and XX. Let's see.
MK Outdoor Journal has a video on it.
I think he got a tester sent to him. I asked for one, and they said that they were all sent out. They said check back later, but I don't know what the length of the warranty is on this one. I don't really want to read through all the specifics, but again, if you want to support American industry, $449, just get something ready to go. You've got your Picatinny rail up on the top, $449. Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was more than that.
Nope, $449, and then obviously there's going to be maybe shipping and tax and transfer fees. But hey, pick compatible rail, M-lock compatible handguard. You could SBR it pretty easily if you want to. Well, I don't know with that buffer tube on the back, it may not. I don't know if they have a swapping out model where you can put a commercial spec or mil spec buffer tube on it, but yeah, I love the charging handle system on the top of it. They supposedly run well. I've heard no complaints about them.
I put the link to his video out in the chat. I'll go ahead and put it in the comments section after the video renders or whatever it is.
Okay.
After the live show becomes a video.
Let's see. What do we got for accessories? Maybe they've got something out there you can go with. They've got EM9 through 18 Glock compatible mag, X-Star stabilizer, M-lock handguard, 90-degree buffer retainer, and then a case.
Is this small enough to carry in a backpack then?
It says with a length of 25 inches. My survival backpack that I bought, it'll fit in that because I think I can go up to 27 inches in that backpack. And the only bad thing is you can't really break this down and make it smaller. I don't think you could easily. It's not like there's no takedown version of it, so you're gonna be limited to 25 inches.
They need to
pretty tall.
Way to change out the stock.
Well, and if it's not, I wonder if it doesn't use a traditional buffer system, if they could have a fold around adapter or a version that would knock 8 inches off the length. You could fit it in a laptop bag, just for if you want a nice little truck gun or something that's going to get you going. Plus, okay, so it does have an actual buffer tube, so it must have an actual bolt that. Maybe, I'm guessing there's a buffer retainer that they sell here, a 90-degree buffer retainer. Oh, does that allow takedown? Let's see what this actually does. I don't know what this. Oh, okay. So that's just a replacement, I guess. Instead of having the traditional pin with the spring in it, like a regular AR-15. Makes for a great upgrade for owners of older EP9 models. Being made out of steel, the retainer has an angled hook that will hold the buffer back further, which aids in the disassembly and reassembly process. So, no, it looks like the upper and lower do come apart. It does have the takedown pin. I guess I didn't even notice that in the pictures of it. So yeah, it looks like you do have. Oh, so there's a takedown pin on the back and there's one on the front, so it must break up in half. And if you have that buffer retainer, it'll keep the buffer in there when the gun is disassembled. So you can break it down into basically 2 1-foot components, roughly.
Sorry, guys.
So yeah, okay. So EP9, another great option for you. So that's something you could consider too. All right, let's go ahead and keep moving here. Let's go on to. We always forget about this one, and we don't ever talk about it enough. I don't think we give it enough credit. It's another one of those OGs, basically, of the 9mm PCC world. We've got your Beretta CX4 Storm, which sometimes you can get good deals on LEO trade-ins on these. I'm assuming they're still making them. I still see them on the shelf. Sometimes you get an FDE stock with them. A little bit larger option. These are about 600 at this point. Do you guys know what these run? If you get a new one?
No.
I was going to say maybe you think they're $599, $699. They do have the sellers that are there, so we can just do a search and look for it later. But yeah, I mean, these are also great to consider, and you've got a lot of aftermarket options for them too. Beretta mag compatibility. Oh, MSRP $899. So you're probably going to pay $799 to $849 if you happen to find one in the store. So that's always something to consider. So. Okay. Oh, I was just getting a confirmation on a firearm that I bought. Okay. Yeah. So again, CX4 Storm.
Wait. What is it? You can't just say, "Hey, I'm getting one," and
we'll talk about it at the end of the chat. It's not a PCC, so it's not really relevant. So.
Yeah, those confirmations just get in the way, don't they?
Well, it was a phone call coming in, and I wanted to wait. I don't like to answer it because it could be spam or it could be a scam.
Yep.
So I don't like to pick them up on my phone. If it doesn't come up on voicemail, then I don't usually bother. I let it go to voicemail. So, yeah. So $899. Okay. Beretta quality. Okay. I mean, a tried and true design, in my opinion. The fact that these are LEO issue, that there are police departments that use them, it does speak some volumes about its reliability, in my opinion. Okay. I wouldn't be afraid to buy one if you're a fan of Beretta. You want one good solid PCC and you don't really care about modifications or the aftermarket. Buy once, cry once. Okay, this is not a bad idea. Or would you rather get 2 X-Stars? Man, that's a tough question to ask. Would you rather get 2 X-Stars for $900 or one PCC?
One in each hand, man. One in each hand.
Dual wield that, right? So I mean, there's really no comparison in terms of build quality. I mean, this thing is steel and polymer. It's going to be pretty solid. And I do like the sling attachments. A lot of times it's up to you to figure out how you want to, if you're gonna have to put a 1-point attachment on it, or if you're gonna have to, go with something different. But yeah, CX4 Storm. Do any of you guys have any experience shooting these at all? Have any of you guys ever fired one before?
No.
I have not had. I know Ghost Tactical, I believe he has one.
I always forget the name of it, but
yeah, no, me too. I know.
There's one they had before this that I shot. Rented it at the range. Had more of a skeletonized stock or whatnot. I can't remember. It's back in the early 2000s.
Okay, Sam of Anarchy has a question. Has anyone here had experience with the CA Roni platform for the Glock or SIG? I've seen a million videos on it. I think it looks cool, but I don't. There's so many of these conversions. That's another thing too, is if you've got a G17, like Squib, you and I were looking at that one cool conversion that they had for the Glock 17 to make it into a PCC. It comes with like a full-length barrel that actually drops in cycles. I mean,
so that could be your truck gun PCC, or all you do is drop your lower into it and you have more velocity, stuff like that, so you don't have to carry another firearm.
Mag and ammo.
And if your vehicle ever does get broken into, they're not going to be able to use it.
You got mag and ammo compatibility, that makes it nice too, with your current sidearm. If you have a G17 and you've got a G17 PCC, the only bad thing is for the price of that conversion kit that we were talking about, the one I don't remember what the name is now, but it was like $500 or $600 for the conversion kit plus the gun. So like if you don't have an extra G17, you use your only G17, you're looking at $450, $550 plus the other $500, you're dropping $900. At that point, it's like, okay, I would just go buy a standalone PCC. I'd go put a down payment on the Little Mermaid edition, My Little Pony edition, F1 firearms, 9mm carbine if I'm going to do anything. So the Shootist says that several police forces in different countries use them, as I've seen them carried in my travels. Yeah, I would definitely get one, if I didn't have another PCC or if I wasn't dabbling in other platforms. That's something to consider. Shootist says that Roni's okay, but the balance of both makes it feel dead and they're not as easy to use, in my opinion. Yeah, there's going to be some definite ergonomic challenges to using something that compact and something you're trying to learn how to run. So, all right, let's go ahead and keep things moving here. The next one, okay, American Hillbilly, you're on point, brother. This one's all you. The High Point. Why is the High Point the PCC to get? What do you think, man? We can argue price. Price is going to be the big one. Multiple calibers is another one. What do you like about the High Point? Why is it your pistol caliber carbine of choice? Please entertain us.
Oh man,
I have one. I'm not knocking it. I have one. This is the second. I bought one back in the late 90s or early 2000s myself. So here we go, man. Bring it.
I originally had got mine from a buddy. It was still brand new. He'd bought like a couple of them. And
so hold on a second. Every good High Point story starts off with, well, I got one from a buddy in a trade, you know? Anyway, go on. Every good story starts off, well, I got a High Point carbine, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, my wife, you know, she's like seen it when we was over there, and she's like, "Oh my goodness!" She called it a Rambo gun. I'm like,
was this the Gen 1 stock or was this the Gen 2 stock? I can't remember. What do you got? This
Gen
stock?
1.
Gen 1, the Planet of the Apes stock. Yeah, that's what they call it.
It had the laser already on it, the flashlight. He'd already decked it out, you know.
Oh yeah,
everything. And so anyway, that's how I kind of come up with it. And so we started shooting it, and I initially bought it for just kind of like a varmint gun, you know, and I got shooting it, and I really liked it. It was accurate and everything.
They are very accurate. I mean, and the recoil is really manageable.
Yeah,
they're very soft shooting.
Like,
yeah.
When you know anybody would come over, you know, everybody wanted to shoot that gun, and they just absolutely loved it. And so I thought, well, I'm going to test this thing, and you know, I did a video on it, but we ran 1,000 rounds of just the cheap bulk ammo that, you know, feels terrible in the hands, you know. Thing, and it was still accurate. I did not get one jam out of it. I mean, it was just just reliable. And for the prices, you know, it's like, my goodness, you know, this is just a gun that maybe a lot of people should have, even though they might not want to, you know, show their friends. But, you know, the fun thing is when you do take it somewhere, everybody wants to shoot the darn thing.
Yeah, it's like everybody hates High Point, but like people just accept the carbine as like that unloved stepchild. It's there. You can't ignore it. It's there, and it just works. Now the mags can be finicky, but I've never had a problem with mine. I've got just 2 mags for mine. I got the one that came with the gun, and then I got an aftermarket one that's also a High Point brand. Sometimes the feed lips need a little adjustment, but I've never had cycling issues. Patrick Pew Pew says, I had a High Point 995. I enjoyed it. It was always reliable, but I wanted to upgrade and have interchangeable mags with my pistol. But Patrick, you could carry the High Point. Oh no, that's right. The 9mm mags that come with the High Point pistol. I can't remember if those are compatible with the carbine or not. There's one goes one way, but it doesn't go the other way. Maybe it's the pistol mags don't work in the carbine, but the carbine mags will work in the pistol because they're a little bit longer. I can't remember what the thing is, but American Hillbilly, you're muted, buddy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right, there you go. Okay.
I'm not for sure if the aftermarket what is it, Red Ball or whatever?
Yeah, I watched the Grantham video on the PC carbine. He was running the Red Ball mags, and it would not cycle at all. But then some people say the Red Ball mags work fine. So unfortunately, is like broke and fell apart within like the first 100 rounds on camera. And I mean, mine, I got the original Gen 1. But so many people have them and have used them for years and never had an issue with them. So again, it's one of those manufacturing things. And the thing is, I don't know if he took it apart and cleaned it before he shot it. Not that it matters. In fact, you probably don't have to from High Point. But that I did on mine before I brought it home. I wanted to make sure the internals were robust and functional before I took it to the range.
To say something about that video, I did watch it, and I was like,
he never used the factory mag though at all. He only used the Red Balls.
Yeah, and like he didn't, like most of us when we get a gun, whatever, we kind of go over and make sure everything's nice and tight and stuff. He didn't do any of that. The front sight there, you know, I even had to tighten mine. Actually, I took it out, put some Loctite in it, you know.
Yeah, they use like they use gas tube screws basically, or they're real small X screws.
So, there's a few things I seen that I was like, man, this is kind of set up for failure almost, when I've not had any of those troubles with mine. I mean, he literally broke the firing pin. I don't know how he did that.
Was he running steel case ammo? I'm kind of curious. Not that it should matter.
I don't know. It didn't say, but he literally, the firing pin was broke on it. And I don't know how that happened. But I've not had any of those type of troubles with mine. Not saying that they wouldn't happen. Take it apart, clean it, take it to the range, put 100 rounds down the pipe. If it's good, put 200 rounds down the pipe. If it's solid, you should be fine, right? Not that it couldn't have its troubles, but the one that I have is nearly 20 years old now, and I mean the thing is it just runs, Now, Two Gun Kitty Catnip Outlaw says the high point's heavy, bulky, cheap feeling. I hear its takedown is a bit of work. Mag capacity is poor. Oh, it has a million limitations against it, but for $300 or less. It's hard to get something that's, you could save up and build, just do an AR build for a little bit more. But if you just want something off the rack that's just going to run, and you're lucky, Two Gun Kitty, I happen to have done a fantastic premium cleaning video on the high point. So you can go watch that video and I'll take you through it step by step on how to take it apart and clean it and take the bolt apart and stuff. It's not too crazy. It's not the easiest gun I've ever taken apart, but it's really not that hard. So it just like a giant, basically the big chunk of the gun is just the bolt. I mean, that's such a big part of what comes out of it. So after you do it once, it's not nearly anywhere close to as complicated again. I'd probably still go back and watch my video again because it's been 6 months, a year since I've taken it apart and cleaned it. I probably forgot, but I've done it once. Now here's the other thing too. If you wouldn't want it at 9, get the 10 millimeter. It's like 75 or $100 more, but a 10 millimeter with a 16-inch barrel, you could get some pretty stout ballistics out of that barrel. If you want a nice, powerful home defensive carbine, consider it. It has a threaded barrel. You could run it suppressed if you want to. I'm just saying, I'm just throwing it out there. I know the suppressor costs more than the gun. That's not the point. You can get them in 44, 45. Yeah. 45. 380. I don't know why you'd want it, but 380 if that's how you get around, then more power to you. I literally seen a video where they were talking bad about the high point. He bought a brand new 10 millimeter high point, threw it in the dirt, the gravel. I mean, just tried to destroy this 10 millimeter high point, and he could not do it. Yeah. And Iraqi veteran, he had to basically melt his down in a skillet in order to get the gun to not work anymore. I think he was putting like quadruple plus P rounds through it, and it wouldn't stop shooting. Like eventually he had to manually cycle it, but it would keep firing. Like he did a high point durability test video like 8 years ago. He was running like just rounds that were just overcharged he was like, pulling it with a string from like 20 feet away. And then finally, I don't know if they were even able to really break it. And then they finally melted it down because it's pot metal. So they put it back in its pot metal form. They, in a skillet, dropped it in there and just roasted it with like a propane torch underneath. So if that's what it takes to get the gun to not run anymore, I mean, I would trust it. And sometimes you can get these at pawn shops for like $150. You got a lifetime guarantee on it. Take it home and shoot. If nothing doesn't work, call High Point. They'll send you the parts, or you can send it in. They tend to send them back with a free magazine also. You got to pay shipping, but they'll fix it and send it back with a mag. And usually they give you a full color instruction manual on how to take it down and clean it. So I've not had to send any of mine in, but I've had people comment on my channels about them that has dealt with High Point customer service, and they said they were amazing. Yeah. So, and that's just that they know they're going to keep you as a customer if they offer good service. Now, if my Sky CPX2 had been more reliable, I would have stayed with Sky. Their customer service was amazing. They sent me multiple mags because I kept having FTE issues and FTF issues. Eventually, they sent me a new barrel and a slide because my extractor was actually what was worn out. And it was all free. They just wanted me to return the parts to them so they could look at them from the factory. They gave me a return envelope, which I put the parts in, and it was already postage paid. I dropped it back in the post office. They sent me a box because they wanted to look at my slide and see what happened, and they wanted to look at my barrel. Although it doesn't really seem like they've really upped their game on quality control, but that's just my opinion, right? So again, High Point. I mean, if you want to get into the PCC game, you don't have a lot of money. I'd rather have this versus a pointy stick, as we like to say, right? Okay, now let's go ahead and finish up with our last pistol caliber carbine, the great granddaddy of the pistol caliber carbines. Now, I have this brand of rifle, but I don't have it in a pistol caliber, although I'd like one. I'd like to get one, say, in 357 Magnum. Henry, we've also got Rossi out there. Squib, take it away. What would be the advantage of going with the Henry lever action pistol caliber carbine? What are some advantages that you see versus, say, a High Point or versus, say, a CX4 Storm? Anything you could think of, Squib? Might be away from the camera. Me, I would say you've got more caliber compatibility. You can get your 357 mag where you can't really get that in other pistol caliber carbines. You've got your 44. Have you guys heard, single shot, I'm going to drop this one on you. Have
have lever guns ever been banned in any state at all? Single shot lever guns, have they ever been banned?
Not that I know of, and there is one more that you probably not thought of. It is a Henry, but it's called a mare's leg.
Oh yeah, the mare's leg. Yeah, the little short
mare's leg.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, there's lever action. You got
a 410 right here.
And it comes in. Yeah.
It's not exactly a pistol caliber carbine, but it is a 410. It is very compact. And you can go with Rossi if you want to, but their prices are really creeping up.
I don't know if it comes at 9, but 350. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, you got them in 357, 44 Magnum, 45 long Colt. I think they even chamber that in 30-30, if I remember right.
Here's all your offerings. We got 357 mag, we got 44 mag, 44-40, 45 Colt, 41 mag, 223 for their long ranger model. They got the 223, 243, 308, 4570, 327 Federal mag, 30-30, 38.-55, 35 Remington, 65 Creedmoor, 350 Legend, which you can buy at Walmart, by the way, but supposedly they don't carry handgun ammo, and 450 Bushmaster. So you can find a caliber you like if you don't want 40 or 9, okay? Or 45 ACP or 10 millimeter.
Dude, they got 450 Bushmaster?
Yeah. Okay, single shot in there. Not single shot, but a single shot rifle. If you want
I mean, with that, you really only need one shot, but okay, no, forget it. They put that in their big boy in a 450 Bushmaster. Dang.
Man.
Single shot, you
need out the credit card.
Single shot, you need one of these because
no kidding.
Swivel buy because it doesn't come in My Little Pony camo, but
Oh brother, yeah, but that they're making that in a lot more calibers than I thought they were. A lot more.
Oh yeah.
This is what I would go with personally. I do this in 357 mag or 44 mag, octagonal barrel. This would match my 30-30 perfectly. In fact, I think it needs a child in the safe to join it. It needs a child. It needs one of these in the safe to join it. So, and now that you got the side gate, I don't mind the tube fed magazine. I'm just not very good at it because I just haven't used the rifle enough to really become efficient with it. But I love the side gate feeding, and that finish is it's an okay color case hardened finish. It's more of like a tiger stripe instead of that old world antique patina that you see for a color case hardened finish. But it looks good. It looks good for what it is. The octagonal barrel adds like
piece.
Oh, it is. The barrel adds like an extra pound to the weight of the gun. So, I mean, it's pretty stable. This would be the way that I would go. If I see one of these in Shields, I'd probably buy one. So, yeah, this would definitely be a lot of fun. So, again, the original pistol caliber carbine, these are fantastic. The only thing is that, I bought mine thinking, I want my 30-30 as a truck gun. But then I look at what I paid for mine, which was like, my 30-30 was like $800. And I'm like, there's no way I'm leaving this in the trunk of a vehicle. I can't. I mean, I would rather have something half the price. I'd rather have the high point get stolen than anything. I don't want anything to get stolen, but I'm just saying that.
Yeah.
I really want.
I thought about the
7 lever action.
Oh, that's a nice one. This would be it. Now, if you don't want to drop 900, you want to save a couple hundred, you can go with the more standard barrel. They've got the big boy that's not the case hardened. This is probably $100 or $200 cheaper. To me, this would be more of like, this would be a great ATV gun. Say you want to some whatever you got ranges you want to protect, or livestock you want to protect, or you got some brush you need to go through. 44 mag or 45 Colt or 357 Magnum, and you can shoot 38 special if you want to save on recoil and cost as an option.
Yep.
Is it 45 Colt or is it 45 long Colt?
45 Colt. There is no 45 long Colt.
Oh, okay.
Tony, if I called it 45 long Colt, Tony would just tear me up in the side chat right there.
I mean, what if you were reading off the side of the box and it said long Colt on the box?
I pointed that out to him, but that's not accepted.
What did Henry call it officially on their website when they're
45 Colt?
They did it. Okay.
45 Colt.
45 Colt. Yep. I don't know if they just put 45C instead of 45 LC. I really don't know. But I mean, and there's nothing wrong with this. If you just, this again, another great option, especially if you're a revolver guy, or maybe you've got a Deagle, you've got a Desert Eagle chambered in 44 mag or 357 Magnum. What a great sidearm to back up your Deagle than a lever gun, right? You got the same ammo compatibility.
Yep.
I'm saying this is it right here. We had to bring it back to FUD life here, guys. We had to bring it back. So yep.
I thought about one of the high point in 10 millimeter.
Yeah.
For a truck gun to have with me all the time. But
run a plus P in that, run a wicked defensive round, run some critical defense in that thing, or some punch with a 16-inch barrel. I mean, you're gonna have some pretty lethal velocities, I'm guessing. You get, I mean, hunting on top of that if you could in your home state. All weather guys, yes or no? Would you rather go blued or all weather?
All weather.
Yeah, you're one of those East Coast guys. You got to worry about the salt.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the wife was saying that she wouldn't mind it either in all black or all weather. You know, she kind of likes the wooden stock better, but the black does kind of complement this finish. So I said, does it really matter? She said, no, it's a Henry. It doesn't matter.
Here's a 2-gun Kitty, the Catnip Outlaw. Makes a good point. 38 special gets you an extra round. You can take it to 11. Take it to 11. 11 or 11 plus 1? Could you go 12? Is it 11 in the tube and 1 in the chamber? I don't know. That's just me. But yeah, American Hillbilly, you going to say something? Go ahead, bud.
No, I was just saying that that's a sweet gun. And, I mean, I don't know, like, since I'm, like, in my 50s, you know, we grew up on lever action guns. I mean, my very first gun was a Ithaca single shot lever action that fed in the top. And, you know, they just worked, and I just such a fanboy of them. And if somebody out there has not tried one or something like that, and, you know, just borrow one, you know, go to the range, you know, see somebody, ask them to shoot it, because they are fun to shoot, and I mean, really accurate and, you know, reliable. I'm a big fan. So I just want to throw that out there in case somebody hadn't really messed with the lever gun.
I really think you can't call yourself an American citizen unless you have a lever gun in your collection. At least one. You got to have at least one. You know, I really do want to get one of the Marlins once they finally come out, but I got a feeling they're not going to be that working man's 3030 anymore. They're going to be a $900 lever action 336. You're probably going to pay over sticker on them, just like we saw with their SBLs or 4570s when they first came out. Don't get me wrong. The quality of the build is there. Those new Ruger-owned Marlins are beautiful, beautiful guns. They've compared old versus new, and you can see the improvements they made. But I guarantee they're going to price them up against Henry. You're going to be looking at $899 for a Marlin 336 when they come out. I'm just going to say it because they used to be $500-$600, I think, for 336, $450 at Walmart, right when they had them. Question for you guys: the mare's leg. 2-gun Kitty says, "Watch out! The ATF may label mare's legs as short barrel rifles." Has that happened? Have there anybody ever been arrested for considering this an SBR?
Not that I'm aware of.
This is an other, isn't it? It's considered an other AOW or something, or
it needs no tax stamp, right? It has its own definition.
Whatever it is about it, I'm not sure what it is, but there's something in the characteristics that meets the definition. Now, we know how they like to change the definition, even though they're not allowed to.
Yeah, this is probably a machine gun under the new administration.
But
oh god,
because you can hold the trigger down and cock it and fire without having to let off the trigger. Oh, I shouldn't say that.
My advice to you is that if you own one of these and then they decide to legislate, even though they're not allowed to, put the thing away and wait till it gets challenged in court and gets overturned. And if it doesn't, follow the instructions. But when there's a lot of people that have this stuff and they've got they decide that they legislate that it's different, they've got to put in a grandfather clause. So I wouldn't worry if you purchase one of these things about it necessarily getting made. You know what it is? It's the fact that it's got the lever. It's the lever.
The bump stock was considered a machine gun. No grandfather clause. Our braces are probably not going to get a grandfather clause either. You know.
Well, no, okay, that's right, and that's because nobody did anything about it. Plus, is unconstitutional anyhow. But regardless, what I'm saying though is that in order to enforce it, they've got to grandfather it in. If they don't, they're going to have a hard time enforcing it. But if you want to just run out there and wave the thing around in the air and go, look at me, I've got something that just got illegally banned. Hey, they're going to take your mare's leg.
Keep this away from the CRS channel. Keep this away from the...
Yeah, no kidding. See, this, because it's a lever, if it was a lever or a bolt action or a slide action or a single shot type, that right there is probably why you don't really have to worry about it. The government doesn't care about that stuff, at least not right now. Eventually they will.
No.
I'm just saying that, I mean, in my opinion, you're and plus you got increased capacity if you go with the pistol calibers versus the rifle calibers. I never thought about that. You know, you have increased capacity versus running 5+1 or whatnot. If you can get 11 or 12 or 10 in that magazine tube, that is going to increase the defensive, option of having that lever gun for home defense. I mean, I would, especially depending on where you live. We keep saying this, depending on what kind of jurisdiction you live under. I mean, for some people, they might. I love my lever gun. I think if I had to just grab, well, it wouldn't be necessarily my only go-to, but I would trust it. I mean, it's mine set up. It's very accurate. I love shooting it. So again, just can't quit drooling enough over the lever guns.
Yeah, I don't have any place in my arsenal for a mare's leg or a shockwave or some of these other. If somebody else likes it, hey, you like it, man. If it's good for whatever purpose it is, hey, that's great. I think the fact that you have the options, but for me, yeah, no, I'm gonna pass.
So where are the Model 94s made? Are these Turkish sourced? I'm just curious because Winchester gets a lot of their guns from Turkey now. Not that I care, but I'm curious on where these are actually made.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm kind of curious because I mean, if I'm going to drop 900, I'm going to go with the Henry. I'm sorry, that's just me. But so current production,
and that's just it too. If you've got one that's made overseas for 1,000 and made here for 1,000, or within a little bit, it's a no-brainer, right? Unless the one made overseas has features that the domestically produced one doesn't. Because there are some guns that are made overseas, and if you don't like them, because in general, I don't buy brand new foreign guns. It doesn't mean I haven't. I just did, as a matter of fact. But if they make one over there, they don't make over here. Well, what choice do I have, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
1309 guys, 1309 MSRP. I'm sure there's probably 1,100 or 1,200 online, but 1309 if you want a Model 94.
For that price, it better be made here.
I would hope so. I know. It's like, man, I'm dropping. No doubt. You can really start to get into some more, that's almost Bighorn Armory money right there, isn't it?
Tony says Japan.
I wonder if is it Sako that makes those? Is that
no? That's Finnish.
That's right.
Sako's
Finnish. Who makes the Brownings?
Soa Arms aren't they? No,
guys. If you out there watching the chat, who do you think? What's the company that makes it? Somebody can maybe Google it. Tell us faster than us old folks can look it up. So new Winchesters are Japanese, same plant they made the 1886s for 50 years. It's also the same factory that makes all the Browning rifles since the 70s. Yeah, the Auto 5. I think the Auto 5s after Belgium went to a Japanese production. Moriku is the answer. Okay. Oh yeah, I mean they're beautiful. I've handled Auto 5s made in Japan before, and they're beautiful guns. I don't have experience with the 94s. I really haven't paid much attention to them because I've got my Henry already. But again, that's another option for you too. So again, pistol caliber carbines, guys, that's what you can go with.
Yeah.
Whew. Hey, let's take a look at the poll real quick and see what people are saying, and then we're going to wrap this one up because I'm getting hungry. Do you own a 9mm pistol caliber carbine? 51% said yes, 38% said no, and 10% said what's 9mm. So I had to throw that out there for G-Webs and G23 so they could get their opinions out there too. What's 9mm, right? But again, that's the beautiful thing about the PCCs is you have the option to not go 9mm if you want to. We have 10mm, we've got 45 ACP, we've got a plethora. Yes, I just said plethora of calibers that Henry has to offer. So, there's something out there for anyone, which is why I think that they're a very viable platform. Now, did we really answer the question, is the AR-9 inferior to those models? And I'm going to say yes and no. It is inferior maybe in some of the weight limitations or the ergonomic limitations versus other models that are out there. But in terms of being a tried and true platform, I mean, the AR-9 design's been around for a while. You've got manufacturers that have standalone lowers designed to accept Glock mags that are machined that way, that in my opinion would be very reliable. So, I mean, they don't have the cool factor. That'd be the one disadvantage. They just don't pop and make you say, wow, like what we saw earlier, like that Ice Warrior that Orange 9 made. That thing is sweet. But I would go either way. It really depends on your budget, and it depends on how vested you are in the AR platform. Consider going the PCC route, the AR-9 route, because you've got a lot of knowledge already, manual of arms, accessories, right? So you do you. It's always going to be, I'm going to steal one from Squib here. It's always personal preference. So that's what I'm going to say. So, all right, we're going to go and wrap this one up. Shout out to Foos for joining us this morning and anybody else I might have missed. Squibload, we'll go ahead and give you some final words. Anything you want to say? All right, we'll come back to you in a sec. American Hillbilly, go ahead, Squib. It's all good.
Yeah. I don't know what final words I got. Pistol caliber carbine, not for everybody. I think it's a good idea if you've never shot one and you're not sure. you could probably rent one, or if you're at the range, maybe ask somebody if you could try theirs, or what I say all the time: get some friends with guns.
There you go. New York Outcast said, I had no idea the Winchester was made in Japan. It just doesn't sound right. Well, I mean, they can contract out. I know. I mean, but remember Winchester, they went bankrupt, right? They went under and got bought out. So,
yeah, they're pretty much, it's a name. It's just like people think Caterpillar boots are made by the company that makes bulldozers in Peoria. It's like, no.
They're made alongside the Walmart boots in China. Those are trail boots. They're about the same line. So, yeah. So smash that thumbs up. Give me some love. Click on that bell. All right. So, yeah, Squib, anything else? Anything else before we move on? Anything else you want to say?
No, drink more coffee.
Always. If you're going to drink something, drink coffee. It is the nectar of the gods. All right. American Hillbilly. Anything you want to say? We gotta hurry up so Hillbilly can get his avocado toast on this morning. Go ahead, brother.
I already did that after my goat yoga. So
there you go. Goat yoga. Goat yoga.
Nah, man, I just appreciate you having me on here and everybody out in the side chat, man. It's just awesome. I really enjoy this every Saturday morning. We have some videos coming out. We hope that there'll be a lot of fun. Actually, today they'll be posting one I did with my son-in-law that just joined the service, and so he got to come back here for just a little bit. So we did a video and enjoyed that, and then of course we got some more videos coming up. One of them has to do with a honeydew list, so it'll be fun and exciting, and
are you gonna blow up
what you expect.
Are you gonna blow up honeydews? Like honey, make my honey cut this honeydew. You're gonna hit it. I probably shouldn't ruin the surprise. I have no idea. I'm just guessing. Because I mean, I haven't watched your Southern Speak video on the honeydew list. Is it DEW or DO? Probably DO. Honeydew list says, get off your lazy butt and go do this for me, is what the honeydew list really is. Go to Lowe's and get the paint the damn bedroom for the kids already. That's what the honeydew list is. So,
yeah, and we are working on a water and lawn video. Got that off my buddy there, and he gave me. I really enjoyed his little video and asked him if I could do one too, and he said sure. So
water in the lawn video, is that a bunch of frat boys standing around drinking White Claw, and then an hour later, So Black Bear Forge says that coffee is not the nectar of the gods. Mead is nectar of the gods. Black Bear Forge, I know that. I just said it because I'm such a huge coffee fan that it's this heavenly experience that the coffee produces every time I take a sip. It is unparalleled. And besides, I can't have mead up at school when I'm working. So what am I supposed to do, right? I gotta have coffee. It's the next best thing to mead. So don't get me wrong, mead is fantastic.
In a long time. Maybe I should do a mead review.
Ooh, there you go. We got places here that make it. We've got places that Squib. The next time you come back, we're gonna go. I got a plan.
There's a mead hall out there.
We have a very high-end Uber brewery. I'm gonna take you to. It's cutting edge.
I'll be there in 14 hours. See ya.
Let's do it, bro. Anyway, so back to American Hillbilly. I'm sorry to steal your thunder. So you were saying?
You're fine, buddy.
All right, man. So guys, get over there, subscribe to Hillbilly Up, American Hillbilly. It's a good old-fashioned Missourian. You guys Missourian? Is that what they call you? Missourians?
Yeah, Missourians. Yeah.
Missourians. All right. All right, man. Cool. So check out the channel. And last, but certainly not least, we've got Single Shot. Single Shot, you're a busy man today. This video game simulator that you're driving, this Microsoft Truck Simulator you're running right now, has fantastic graphics. I just want to say it looks amazing.
The only thing is real life.
Yeah.
It's a game, I guess. If you want to keep people alive and keep myself out of keep myself out of problems. Mm-hmm. But boy, I'm telling you, you get just a generalized idea of what I have to deal with every single day with this. And people just don't think. But anyway, a couple of videos on Rumble, one on Rumble and one on YouTube about CW Longshot being in the hospital. So he could take texting, but he doesn't want to take phone calls right now because it's just a little bit too much for him. So
email, click on the channel, leave a positive comment on his videos. That's a good way to reach him because he can take his comments at his leisure, when you think about it. Yeah, and he is a good guy. I've met up with him a couple of times, and he and I have exchanged items there a time or two. And, I'm
thinking about him all the time. So,
Cool.
you know, get a chance, take a look at those videos, stop by the channels and see what you like. Give me a like, subscribe. My channel is growing very slowly, but it's growing.
I'm getting there. It takes time, man.
Oh yeah, it does. It does.
I'm seven years in right now, and I'm only at 47,000 subs, and I put out 1,300 videos, and I don't buy subscribers. So I mean, it's showing you how long it takes to get up that ladder, you know. Especially if you want to do a variety of content and not do the same type of video over and over again.
I haven't even got 240 subs to YouTube yet. That's still, you know, I've been on there for a while. But anyway.
So single shots channel, single space shot exclamation point. That's what you need to search for on YouTube. Otherwise, there's a billion single shot videos that pop up.
Yeah.
And so if you want to find the channel, and I know that Kingpin's put your link out there before for people.
Yes, he has.
So you have that going on.
Yep.
Awesome, man.
Take care, everybody. Have a great rest of your weekend. Be safe. America moves by truck.
And if you don't think so, go check your store shelves. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Hey, before we go, let's just one final thought, something to consider. You know, I'm thinking about making up a third YouTube channel dedicated to this, to goat yoga. I'm thinking about paying money to, and I'm sure this is therapeutic for people, and that's awesome, but I'm thinking about really getting out there and letting goats walk over me while I meditate. I mean, I'm already getting more into meditation now, and I really see this as, I mean, who wouldn't want this after a day at the range? Why wouldn't you want this? I mean, look at this. Look at this. You got, you know, they're smiling at you. You got piles of hay in front of you. I mean, look at this. I mean, the sad part is I can go to most farms in Nebraska, jump the fence, and go do this for free. But, you know, I'm just saying goat yoga is a real thing, people. We haven't been talking about. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, my gosh. Look at that. Goat yoga. I'm telling you, that's where it's at, you know. That goat yoga is going to fix all the world's problems. So if we just took some goat yoga farms over to the Ukraine and Russia, we could settle our differences over some meditation. So I just want to leave people with a laugh today. That's all. So anyway, you guys have fun, be safe. Thank you so much for watching today. We'll be back next week. I have no idea what we're going to talk about. Actually, no, I do have an idea what we're going to talk about because I'm going to be picking it up here shortly. And it might make a nice piece for conversation and maybe push some American manufacturers to get their butts in gear and make this platform of a firearm that they currently don't do. So anyway, we'll talk about it next week. Have fun, be safe, guys, and we will talk to you soon. All right. Hey, by the way, Colt Revolver video coming out on Wednesday. Make sure you watch the channel. It's going to be coming your way. Check out Travis P11. Like and subscribe. Mash that bell. And we'll talk to you next Saturday.